Chapter 642. Translator. Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translations 3 against 5. However, among the 5 demons in front of Yi Xian and the rest, other than the bald, middle-aged leader who was a level 3 king, the other 4 were all level 2 kings. If they really fought, Yi Xian and the rest were not afraid. They were only afraid that the demons would suddenly attack Lan Xian and Blue Pool. However, if they could kill 1 or 2 of them, the situation would be much simpler. Leave the little girl behind and kill the rest. Go. The bald, middle-aged man did not waste any more words. In an instant, the 5 demons rushed towards Yi Xian and the rest. Shintulai did not dare to hide anymore. He threw out more than 10 mid-grade ethereal god weapons and controlled them to rush over. At the same time, he used a large amount of Yuan Qi to form golden ramparts to block in front of Lan Xian and Blue Pool. Shintulai had comprehended the golden defense, so the golden ramparts were very strong. Although they were not indestructible, they could at least block some attacks. Then he and Shuiqing were rushed out. Yi Xian did not move. He was waiting for an opportunity. Attack together. The bald, middle-aged man shouted. His eyes, which were filled with confidence, were fixed on Shintulai from beginning to end. He and Shintulai were both level 3 kings. As long as he killed Shintulai, he could capture the remaining 4 alive. Therefore he did not think that he would fail. 1 level 3 king and 4 level 2 kings were enough to threaten a level 4 king. However, Shintulai was famous for his defense. He would not be killed instantly. Kacha. 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 Golden ramparts appeared in front of him and Shuiqing. At the same time, an illusory dragon turtle appeared behind him. This could greatly increase his defense. Although Shuiqing was only a level 1 king, he had comprehended the flame doppelganger. He and his doppelganger hid behind the golden ramparts and slashed continuously in an attempt to weaken the enemy's attacks. At the same time, the moment the 5 demons attacked, Yi Xian finally moved. 8 Desolation Sword. Sword shatters the stars. A cold light brushed past the golden barrier, and before the other party could react, it entered the body of one of the Yao clan members. In the next moment, the Yao clan expert's body shattered into pieces, and a rain of blood and flesh fell from the sky. Instant kill. Now there were only 4 of them left. 1 was a level 3 beast tamer, and the other 3 were level 2 beast tamers. What? The bald middle-aged man was alarmed. He focused his gaze and realized that a young man had charged out from behind the golden wall. It was the person who had asked about Ice Maiden and Flame Emperor's safety. Wind attribute? The bald middle-aged man was shocked. Another rare wind attribute cultivator had appeared. Could it be that a human's innate talent was so strong? Even he might not be able to kill a rank 2 king in 1 hit. However, a rank 1 king like Yi Xian had done it. 8 Desolation Titans appear. After Yi Xian killed a level 2 dominator, he quickly rushed over. Both he and Ba Huang Jinling had wings of the wind, so their speed was no slower than the bald middle-aged man. He and Ba Huang Jinling each took down a level 2 dominator. The one that Yi Xian had killed was the one with the wood attribute. He was also the one who had severely injured Flame Emperor Songju. Now Yi Xian's 2 opponents were of the metal attribute and the fire attribute. One was countered by him while the other countered him. Under such circumstances, he naturally had to kill the one with the metal attribute first. Metal defense. One of the Yao clan experts did not dare to delay and quickly covered his entire body. However, it was of no use. Just as Ba Huang Jinling was in front of him, Ba Huang Jinling suddenly disintegrated and split into 8 blades to attack. Yi Xian and this person were both level 2 beast tamers. Both of them were at the same level, and with their element advantage, this person was a living target. Pung. This level 2 beast tamer was continuously beaten up, and he could not even attack. As for the fire attribute beast tamer, he was of no threat to Yi Xian who had comprehended wind acceleration. It's about time. Ba Huang's sword reassemble. Yi Xian felt that he had recovered 1/3 of his true qi. Although it was not much, it was enough to kill one of them. Kacha. The Ba Huang sword was reassembled. Yi Xian gripped it tightly, then fiercely stabbed it towards the fire attribute demon. What? The fire attribute beast tamer was stunned. He thought that Yi Xian was going to kill the other beast tamer first. However, he suddenly changed his target and this caught him off guard. The speed of Ba Huang Jinling's star-shattering sword was already fast, and with the addition of the profound strength and wind acceleration as well as the sneak attack, the fire attribute beast tamer was hit before he could react. In an instant, a rain of blood fell from the sky. Yi Xian's true qi was depleted again. Although he had 2 void spirits and 2 attributes, the true qi in his body was still the same. When he used martial arts like Heaven-Shattering Slash, the Earth attribute True Chi was released. When he used Wind Dragon Slash, the Wind attribute True Chi was released. To put it simply, Yi Xian could adjust the Wind and Earth attributes at any time to deal with the situation. Just now he had used the Wind attribute True Chi to kill the Fire attribute Beast Tamer King. Now 2 Beast Tamers had died. The 3rd grade Beast Tamer King was held back by Shin Tu Lai, and the other Beast Tamer King was held back by Cui Qinghua. As for the remaining Metal attribute Beast Tamer, he was not far from death. Bam, bam, bam. A series of muffled sounds were heard. The gold defense profound strength was indeed powerful. If it had been a normal person, Yi Xian would have killed him. Let me show you the technique that I almost overlooked. Yi Xian looked at the golden armored Beast Tamer in front of him. His eyes suddenly flashed. The 8 sharp blades suddenly stopped attacking and formed a sharp cone shape. Ba Huang Wind Formation, Sky Break. Whoosh whoosh. A sharp gust of wind swept out and drilled into the golden armor. In an instant, the golden armor was torn apart and the blades pierced through the Beast Tamer's body. Sky Break combined with the 8-layered earth-throbbing technique was too powerful. Even if it was the gold defense profound strength of a 3rd grade Beast Tamer, Yi Xian was confident that he could penetrate it. The metal attribute Beast Tamer had a huge hole in his abdomen. He retreated in horror, but in the next moment, his back slammed into a hard object. What? The Beast Tamer's eyes widened. When he turned around, he realized that he had slammed into an earth wall. Don't forget that Yi Xian not only had the wind domain, but also the earth domain. Although the earth spike attack was useless against the Beast Tamer and might not even be able to penetrate his defense, some small tricks were still useful. Chapter 643. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Henyi Translations Fiancé? This attack broke through the sky and directly drilled this demon's head into mush. He couldn't be more dead than this. Yi Xian had single-handedly defeated 3 demons, shocking the entire audience. Now it was time for him to reap the rewards. Although the 3 Grade 2 Dominator Chen Kuan rings couldn't help him break through, it was good enough. His territory had expanded by another 2,000 meters, reaching 22,000 meters. Let me help you. Following that, Yi Xian quickly rushed towards Cui Qinghua, who had been suppressed to the point of retreating. Damn it, retreat. At the same time, the bald middle-aged man couldn't help but shout. They had just started the battle and 3 of them had died. They had the advantage in terms of numbers, but now they were at a disadvantage. If the battle continued, the 2 of them would die too. Go after him. Shen Tulai's eyes lit up as he shouted. His defense was amazing. The bald middle-aged man was also a grade 3 dominator, but he couldn't do anything to him. All he could do was slowly exhaust his genuine chi. The other monster was also retreating, but he wasn't as fast as Yi Xian. Suddenly, a dragon roar was heard. Yi Xian turned around and saw that the bald middle-aged man had taken the opportunity to transform into his original form. Dragon-slaying Sword of Desolation, Dragon's Judgment. Dragon-slaying Sword of Desolation, Dragon's Judgment. Dragon-slaying Sword of Desolation, Dragon's Judgment. Yi Xian immediately turned around and attacked the bald middle-aged man. Shin Tu Lai no longer defended. Instead, he controlled more than 10 middle-grade ethereal god weapons and charged towards the red dragon. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the dragon's judgment landed on the red dragon, severely injuring him. However, Yi Xian's reaction was still too slow. After the red dragon transformed, he quickly ran away and didn't even care about his companions. So fast. After seeing his opponent's speed, Yi Xian didn't want to chase him anymore. This was a level 3 Dominator Sky Dragon. He was faster than him, so he gave up. However, this dragon took the risk of transforming into his original form. There would be repercussions and he wouldn't be able to transform back into his human form. That was the curse of the monster race. Although it was a pity that this level 3 king had escaped, there was still one more person. The last Fei took advantage of the fact that Yi Xian and Shin Tu Lai were in a daze to transform back into his original form. However, at this moment Yi Xian's chi had more or less recovered. 8 Baron Swordsmanship, Sword Breaking 8 Baron. Pooh! Just as the demon finished its transformation, its head was cut off by Yi Xian and it died on the spot. Originally, Yi Xian could have killed him quickly, making it impossible for him to even transform. However, when he thought about how the dragon corpse was still useful to those at the peak of the Nihility God stage, Yi Xian allowed him to transform into his original form before killing him. This way, the corpses could be used for comprehension. After the 4th Demon King died, Yi Xian quickly rushed over and put away his universe ring. At the same time he also put away the corpse. The battle was over. You killed 4 rank 2 demon kings by yourself. I'm afraid your strength is comparable to a rank 3 demon king. Xianxia flew over. Rank 3 demon king? Yixian muttered to himself. That was roughly what he had expected. However, it was not enough to kill a rank 3 demon king. Let's hurry back. Yixian turned to look at the others. Judge Song was heavily injured and worried. The hall master was nowhere to be found, so they could only rely on him. The sacred tree of life bloodline might be useful. Yes, let's hurry back. After killing the 4 monster kings, Yixian's group of 5 quickly left the vast wilderness and flew towards Warlord Hall. After leaving the vast wilderness they would be safe. After all, the monster kings of the vast wilderness could not leave the vast wilderness. Therefore Yixian took the lead and left the group, flying towards Warlord Hall. The daughter of Warlord Hall's deputy hall master Lan Yu had the lightning attribute, which was as rare as the wind, ice and fire attributes. According to the monster race experts, Lan Yu had suddenly comprehended the lightning acceleration esoteric skill, which was why she had survived. The lightning acceleration esoteric skill was said to be faster than the wind acceleration esoteric skill. Therefore Lan Yu's group might have arrived at Warlord Hall first. However, Yixian's guess was wrong. After returning he quickly found Vice Hall Master Lan Yao. You're back? Vice Hall Master Lan Yao was very surprised to see Yixian suddenly barging in. Is the young Hall Master back? Yixian hurriedly asked. Young Hall Master? Lan Yao suddenly slammed the table and stood up. You lost contact with Xianxia? At this moment Yixian realized that he'd misspoken and caused Lan Yao to misunderstand him as Lan Xin. He hurriedly explained, No, it's Lan Yu. Lan Yu? Lan Yao frowned. Yixian was the second team from the vast wilderness. How did he get involved with the first team? Yixian understood that he did not understand and quickly explained what had happened. What? Yendi is heavily injured? Lan Yao exclaimed after hearing the story. Ice Lady, Yendi and Lan Yu were the 3 trump cards of Warlord Hall. If they were nurtured for a few years, they would become experts on the same level as Jiang Tianjin in the future. But now, something had happened to them? They haven't returned yet. Something might have happened on their way back. Lan Yao's expression was solemn. Vice Hall Master Ice Lady Song Suijing is my fiancée. Please send people to search for her immediately. Yixian hurriedly cupped his fists and said. His strength alone was very limited. If a large number of experts were sent out, he could be the first to know and then treat them. Vice Hall Master Lan Yao trembled. Fiancé? He had seen the Ice Goddess and Flame Emperor once, but he had never seen them in person because they were wearing armor at that time. Lan Yu was probably the only one who had seen them. However, Lan Yu had told him their names. Song Suijing was indeed Ice Lady's name. Only he and Lan Yu knew about this matter. Now that Yixian had casually said it, it was enough to prove that Yixian was telling the truth. Alright, I will immediately send people out to search for her. She was injured by a wood attribute expert, so it's best to find a metal attribute expert to treat her. Lan Yao nodded and quickly walked out of the palace. Even without Yixian's relationship, he had to find Yendi as soon as possible. Otherwise, Judge Song's life would be in danger. Judge Song was injured by a second-grade king. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to treat her. At least a king-level expert would be needed. In the eastern continent, only the 3 great halls and Sword God Palace had Void God Realm kings. The situation was urgent, so Yixian didn't even report his strength. At the same time, he went out alone to see if he could find anyone. However, after a few days they still didn't find anything. Only a few of the Battle King Hall's experts had returned. At the same time Lan Xian and the others had also returned. However, Lan Yu, Song Suijing, and Judge Song were still nowhere to be seen. This caused Yixian to wonder if Lan Yu and Song Suijing were injured as well, apart from Judge Song. Chapter 644. Betrothal Gifts. At the same time, in a small palace deep within the Champion Hall, Yixian and a few others were discussing anxiously. Lan Yao only found out that Yixian had broken through to become a Grade 2 Dominator. However, it wasn't the time to celebrate. Father, could it be that sister left with the people from the Beast King Hall or the Tool King Hall? Coincidentally, they have a Metal Element King among them. That's why they suppressed their injuries and went to the other 2 King Halls? Lan Xian suddenly guessed. That's right. That's possible. Based on what you saw, the 5 Beast Kings must have been obstructed. That's why they couldn't catch up to them. Maybe the 3 of them went to the Beast King Hall or the Tool King Hall. Lan Yao nodded. Xianxia suddenly thought of something and said, No, metal element chi can only suppress their injuries. If they want to heal them, they need the profound art of rejuvenation. Our Beast King Hall doesn't have a wood element king, so they might have gone to the Tool King Hall. Tool King Hall. This name was special to Yi Xian because the Jiang family was in charge of the Tool King Hall. After hearing Shin Tulai's words, Lan Yao's eyes suddenly lit up. That's right. The Jiang family has a wood element king and he comprehended the profound art of rejuvenation. They must have gone to the Tool King Hall. After he finished speaking, he stood up and said, "Then I will go to the Tool King Hall personally." "I will go too." Yi Xian also stood up. "Yi Xian, your identity is special. It's better if you don't go. Don't worry, I will bring them back." Lan Yao said to Yi Xian. Just as Yi Xian was about to say something, a series of footsteps came from outside the palace. Following that, an elder walked in quickly. "Deputy Palace Master, the Jiang family is here," the elder said. Everyone present was shocked by his words. Jiang family? Didn't that mean the Tool King Hall was here? Who is here? Lan Yao asked anxiously. "Jiang Wenjing from the Jiang family," the elder replied. "Only one person?" The elder nodded. Only one person from the Jiang family came. This meant that Lan Yu was still in the Tool King Hall. "Let's go." The deputy palace master frowned slightly and led the group out. Lan Yao had heard of Jiang Wenjing before. He was a rank 3 king from the Jiang family, and his strength was extraordinary. He didn't know why he was here today. Was he here to inform the Battle King Hall? Was Lan Yu with him? If it was just a notice, there was no need for a literati from the Jiang family to come. Jiang Wenjing was Jiang Tianjin's father's generation. The elder Wenjing was Jiang Tianjin's as was. Very quickly Lan Yao brought Yi Xian and the others to the palace that received the esteemed guests. Upon hearing the sound of footsteps, that person turned around, cupped his hands together and said, "Palace Master Lan, please forgive my sudden visit." B. Jiang Wenjing, how many people from my Battle King Hall are in your Weapon King Hall? Lan Yao asked straightforwardly. Jiang Wenjing smiled and handed over a name list. He said, "There are 11 people in total. This is the name list. I don't know about the rest." Lan Yao took the name list and looked at it. His heart trembled. A few people had returned a few days ago. Jiang Wenjing looked at the name list and found that there were only a few people left. Until now there was still no news about the 2 kings and a few peak empty gods. What about the Flame Emperor? Yi Xian suddenly asked. Jiang Wenjing glanced at Yi Xian and slightly frowned. He felt that Yi Xian looked a little familiar, but after thinking for a moment he didn't mind and said, "That flame attribute brat is heavily injured. Although there are experts from my Artifact King Hall suppressing his injuries along the way, when he arrived at my Artifact King Hall, he was already on the verge of death. However, the great elder of the Tool King Hall suppressed his injuries. He is fine now. It's just that he hasn't been cured yet." Phew. Hearing this, Yi Xian and the others heaved a sigh of relief. "What about my sister?" Lan Xian asked. "She's only slightly injured." Jiang Wenjing smiled and said, "Temple Master Lan, your daughters are geniuses. One is of the lightning attribute and the other is of the wind attribute. Not only that, you even took in 2 people of the rare attribute." "You flatter me," Lan Yao replied. At that moment, Jiang Wenjing suddenly smiled. Then he took out an interspatial ring and handed it to Lan Yao. At the same time he said, "Palace Master Lan, please take a look." Lan Yao took the interspatial ring and looked at it in surprise. His eyes widened. The interspatial ring contained a large amount of sky treasures. It was a shocking amount. "What are you doing?" Lan Yao was a little confused. Jiang Wenjing smiled and said, "Temple Master Lan, I'm not here to discuss the trip to the wilderness or to report your safety. I'm here to give you betrothal gifts." Betrothal gifts. When these words fell into everyone's ears, their bodies trembled. Betrothal gifts were usually given by the man's family to the woman's family. Could it be that Jiang Wenjing had taken a fancy to the people of the Warlord Hall? No. Lan Yao immediately reacted and rejected the offer. What kind of joke was this? Lan Yu was going to inherit his mantle in the future. How could she marry into the Weapon Emperor Hall? Besides, the Battle Emperor Hall and the Beast Emperor Hall were on the decline, while the Weapon Emperor Hall was improving day by day. If the Weapon Emperor Hall grew stronger, wouldn't it be able to devour the Battle Emperor Hall and the Beast Emperor Hall? Jiang Wenjing grinned. He knew that Lan Yao had misunderstood, thus he immediately explained, No, Temple Master Lan, you've misunderstood. I'm not here for Lan Yu but for the Ice Goddess." What? The crowd was shocked. He was not here for Lan Yu but for the ice goddess. What do you mean by this? As far as I know, she already has an engagement. Lan Yao glanced at Yi Xian intentionally or unintentionally. I know that. She's already mentioned it. Your Battle Emperor Hall and my Weapon Emperor Hall have always minded our own business. Although we work together sometimes, our relationship isn't that good. When that kid came to my Weapon Emperor Hall, he was already on the verge of death, so... Jiang Wenjing smiled and did not finish his sentence. So you're taking advantage of the situation? Shen Tulai suddenly took a step forward and shouted. Jiang Wenjing looked at him and said, Elder Shen Tu, how can this be considered as taking advantage of the situation? That kid was on the verge of death. If we didn't save him, he would have become a corpse. Besides, the little girl promised us personally. As long as we save that kid, she'll marry Tiancheng. Jiang Tiancheng, this name was not unfamiliar to Lan Yao. Jiang Tiancheng was Jiang Tianjin's younger brother. His aptitude was also very good. He had already broken through to become a second-grade dominator and had comprehended 2 ultimacies. Chapter 645. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translations snatched the bride. However, Jiang Wenjing's words made Yi Xian tremble. Song Suijing agreed? How was that possible? He was engaged to Song Suijing and Song Suijing was his fiancée. How could she marry someone else? Impossible. Kai Jing must have pretended to agree to save the judge. Yi Xian thought to himself. Song Suijing was his fiancée, and he knew that someone like Song Suijing would run away before the wedding, or do something terrible on the wedding day. For example, she could commit suicide. No, I can't let that happen. Yi Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. The King of Weapons Hall was too despicable. They were trying to take advantage of the situation. He could not tolerate that. Even if he had to die, he would not let that happen. Lan Yao and the rest understood the relationship between Yi Xian and the goddess of ice. Therefore they could not watch it happen, especially Shen Tulai. Palace Master Lan Yu found the goddess of ice when she was traveling. You don't know much about her, do you? She is engaged, but the other party must be from one of the territories under the Warlord Hall. How can such a force be compared to the King of Weapons Hall? Besides, Tiancheng is still single. He fell in love with her at first sight on this trip to the wasteland. The 2 of them are a perfect match. They are absolutely a match made in heaven. Jiang Wenjing said. No, you saved the Flame Emperor. I will thank you. Lan Yao refused again. Palace Master Lan, do you think we are interested in those gifts? Jiang Wenjing narrowed his eyes. Then what do you want? Lan Yao asked with a gloomy face. Jiang Wenjing smirked and said, We don't want anything. We just want her. Moreover, the girl agreed to it herself. You are not her father. What right do you have to refuse? What did you say? Lan Yao was furious when he heard that. Where was this? The Warlord Hall. This was his territory. However, Jiang Wenjing dared to say such things in his territory. Clearly he did not respect him. You heard what I said. Whether you agree or not, we will not stop your daughter from coming back. However, we will not let those 2 people go. Jiang Wenjing said coldly. How dare you? Lan Yao was fuming with rage. Although there were not many people, Jiang Wenjing dared to threaten him in front of so many people. Jiang Wenjing was challenging his authority. Immediately, Lan Yao expanded his metal domain and enveloped the entire palace. His cultivation level was much higher than Jiang Wenjing's. A wave of aura gushed out from his body and pressed down on Jiang Wenjing. Jiang Wenjing immediately felt a stuffy feeling in his chest. He was a little out of breath, but he wasn't afraid in the slightest. He coldly shouted, What? Does Temple Master Lan want to make a move on me? He was Jiang. Was translations. The Jiang family's literary generation had a high status. If Lan Yao made a move on Jiang Wenjing, then the relationship between both parties would be awkward. Most importantly, Lan Yu was still in the Weapon King Hall. At that moment, Shen Tulai could not bear to watch any longer. He said, Jiang Wenjing, aren't you going overboard? Elder Shen Tu, you are from the Beast King Hall. Why are you interfering? Jiang Wenjing retorted. You can use such shameless methods. Why can't I speak? Shen Tulai said solemnly. He was able to achieve what he had today because of Yi Chong. Yi Chong could be said to be half his master. Now that Yi Xian was in trouble, how could he just stand by and watch? So what? Could it be that Elder Shen Tu wants to represent the Beast King Hall and oppose this marriage? Jiang Wenjing asked again. Although I, Shen Tulai, am not a big shot, I can represent the Beast King Hall this time. I know that the Palace Master will oppose this marriage. Shen Tulai squinted his eyes. After the division of the Beast King Hall, The Beast King Hall and the Battle King Hall had a good relationship. Now that the Weapon King Hall was suppressing them, if the Goddess of Ice were to marry into the Weapon King Hall, wouldn't the Weapon King Hall become stronger? The two King Halls would definitely not agree to it. No matter what, it doesn't matter if you agree to this marriage or not. Jiang Wenjing will pass the message. The big day will be half a month later. If you can come, I will welcome you. If you don't, I will not force you. Farewell. After Jiang Wenjing said those words, he turned around and prepared to leave. My Battle King Hall is not a place where you can come and go as you please, Lan Yao shouted. In the next moment, the door of the palace slammed shut. Jiang Wenjing's expression did not change. Palace Master Lan, if you are worried, feel free to attack me. Jiang Wenjing will accept it. He turned his back to Lan Yao and did not move. He believed that Lan Yao would not dare to attack him. Lan Yao's face darkened as he hesitated in his heart. Yi Xian had only gone to the Great Wasteland once, but he had already broken through from 20% of the Void Transformation stage to the Void God Realm King. Such a genius was rare to come by in 100 years for the Battle King Hall. Even the Ice Girl and the Flame Emperor combined were not even half of Yi Xian's. Most importantly, the Hall Master of the Battle King Hall and Yi Xian's father were good friends, so the Battle King Hall could not help but help. However, the War King Hall's main Hall Master wasn't here right now, so the Tool King Hall targeted this point precisely. That was why they acted so arrogantly, using their power to bully others, taking advantage of the situation. After pondering for a moment, Lan Yao finally made his decision. Previous chapter, next chapter, boom. The door opened. Farewell. The corners of Jiang Wenjing's mouth curled up as he left the Battle King Hall. The palace immediately fell silent. Yi Xian, don't worry. I definitely won't ignore this matter. After Jiang Wenjing left, Lan Yao said to Yi Xian, "Thank you, Vice Palace Master." Yi Xian hurriedly thanked him. This matter was probably not something that he could solve alone. If there was a long time, he could go to the Sword God's palace and ask for his father. However, the Battle King Hall was a distance away from the Sword God's palace. By the time Yi Chong arrived, it would be too late. At that time, Song Suijing would probably be a corpse. Therefore, he could only rely on the Battle King Hall and the Beast King Hall. My Beast King Hall will also fully support you. This time we can let Jiang Wenjing leave first. On the day of the wedding, our two halls will pretend to be present, and then... Shintu Lai did not continue. Elder Shintu, you mean? Lan Yao narrowed his eyes. Snatch the wedding? Lan Xian suddenly said. That's right, snatch the wedding. Chapter 646. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor, Atlas Studios Pulse of the Earth 16. Lan Yao hesitated and nodded. All right, we'll snatch the bride. However, we don't have many Void God Realm Kings in the Eastern Mainland. They are all in the chaotic astral ocean. Do we have enough people? What about the Jiang family's great master? Don't worry, Palace Master Lan. The Palace Master values this trip to the wilderness, so he is cultivating in the Beast King Hall while waiting for news, Shintu Lai said. All right, with Palace Master Situ's help, we won't have any problems this time. Lan Yao replied. Now they were full of confidence. The main Palace Master of the Beast King Hall was the disciple of one of the Palace Masters of the Sword God Palace. Although he had yet to become a Palace Master, he was more powerful than Lan Yao. Before the King Hall was split, the Jiang family was the backbone. After the split, most of the elders followed them, which was why they were so powerful. However, the Weapon King Hall was not powerful enough to go against both the Beast King Hall and the Battle King Hall. Deputy Palace Master, Elder Shintu, thank you. Yi Xian took 2 steps to the side and cupped his fist respectfully. You don't have to do this. Your father has a good relationship with both of our palaces. We can't just sit and watch. Moreover, the Weapon King Hall is too arrogant. They don't even respect me here. If we don't suppress them, the world will think that the Weapon King Hall is in charge of the Eastern Mainland. Lan Yao said solemnly. That's right, Yi Xian. Stay here. In half a month we'll help you get your fiancé back. Shintu Lai nodded. However, how could Yi Xian wait for news quietly? Deputy Palace Master, Elder Shintu Kaijing is my fiancé. I can't not go. Yi Xian said solemnly. Yi Xian knew Song Suijing's character very well. As long as he appeared, Song Suijing might give up on the idea of committing suicide. Therefore he had to go. But Jiang Tianjin already knows your identity. You're like a sheep in a tiger's den. Shintu Lai reminded him. Although he was still in the Tianshui mainland when the incident happened, he had heard about it when he came. Back then Yi Chong and Yi Xian were almost killed by the Jiang family. If it wasn't for Jiang Xinyan's death, they wouldn't have survived. Yi Xian was going to the families. If he was recognized Jiang Tianjin house, wouldn't he be what? Jiang Tianjin is Jiang Tianjin. Jiang Tianjin is Jiang Tianjin. Jiang Tianjin is weird. Jiang Tianjin is weird. Jiang Tianjin is Tianjin. As long as Yi Xian doesn't take out the Bahuang sword, the Jiang family shouldn't recognize it. But he has the Jiang family's bloodline in his body? Xin Tulai continued. However, the next moment he felt a little strange. Yi Xian did indeed have the bloodline of the Jiang family in his body. Why didn't Jiang Wenjing feel it just now? I helped Yi Xian cover up the Jiang family's aura. That's why Jiang Wenjing didn't notice it. When the time comes, we can ask Hall Master Situ for help. Even if the old Master Jiang comes out, he won't be able to sense it. Lan Yao said. The Beast King Hall Master was the same as the Battle King Hall Master. They were both Void God Realm Peak Kings. Jiang Tianjin's father, Jiang Wenyue, and Jiang Xinyan were the only Void God Realm Peak Kings in the Jiang family. Jiang Wenyue and Jiang Xinyan were still in the Sword God Palace. Even if Jiang Wenyue's son Jiang Tianqing got married, he wouldn't come back. After all, Jiang Wenyue had to guard the last level of the Sword God Pagoda. If he came back, Yi Chong would take advantage of the situation. As long as Jiang Wenyue didn't come back, the Jiang family had nothing to fear. As for Jiang Xinyan, she was Yi Xian's mother. She came back, she would help Yi Xian. However, she was grounded in the Sword God Palace. Before she broke through to the Void God Realm Great Emperor, she couldn't leave the Sword God Palace. This interspatial ring is the betrothal gift from the Weapon King Hall. I will return it to them when the time comes. After Lan Yao finished speaking, he left with Shen Tulai. They had to come up with a plan to prevent chaos and bad things from happening. After the two of them left, Lan Xeng couldn't help but say, Yi Xian, you don't have to worry. The Weapon King Hall won't be able to defeat the two of us. Yi Xian nodded slightly. He hoped that things would go smoothly. Otherwise, even if he had to die, he would rescue Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song. There was only half a month left. According to his speed, it would take him a few days to fly from the Battle King Hall to the Weapon King Hall. Therefore, he still had a few days to cultivate and see if he could comprehend another ultimacy. When the time came, his strength would increase greatly. In fact, what he wanted to comprehend the most was the gravity ultimacy. As long as his opponent was in his territory, he would be able to make his opponent lose their balance. This was a very useful trump card. When he was fighting with the enemy, his attack trajectory would not hit the enemy. However, when the enemy thought so, he would use the profound meaning of gravity. The enemy would not be able to react in time and would fall instantly. Then they would be hit. This was a super skill for sneaky people. There weren't many kings in the Battle King Hall. According to the Vice Palace Master, most of the kings had gone to the chaotic astral ocean. However, Yi Xian found a grade 3 king who was cultivating in seclusion and begged him to spar with him. This grade 3 king was the previous Vice Palace Master Lan Yao's father Lan Xiao. Lan Xiao had the same metal attribute as Shin Tulai and had also comprehended the metal defense. However, he had comprehended the metal slice ultimacy. The metal slice ultimacy was comparable to the wind blade ultimacy. Lan Xiao's defense was strong and his attack wasn't weak either. Therefore, his strength was close to that of a grade 4 king. In the following period of time, Yi Xian kept fighting with him. Only by fighting could he quickly comprehend the ultimacy. Time passed slowly. The big day of the Weapon King Hall was approaching day by day. Yi Xian's pressure was also increasing. Today was the day for the Battle King Hall's people to set off. However, Yi Xian was still fighting with Lan Xiao. Boom. The door of a training ground opened. Lan Yao and the others walked in. In the training ground, two figures flashed quickly. Father, it's time, Lan Yao said respectfully to the golden-armored giant. The two people in the center stopped. The golden-armored giant's golden armor instantly shattered. Inside was a black-robed old man. Got it? Lan Xiao nodded. He looked at the youth and said, Kid, your aptitude has already surpassed what I know. If little Yu is compared to you, she's not even worth mentioning. If you calm down, you might have gained more in the next few days. Yi Xian had indeed gained a lot in the past few days of continuous fighting. His earth pulse had evolved from 8 layers to 16 layers. Its power had increased by several times. Chapter 647. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin heading to the Weapon King Hall, Senior is right. Yi Xian nodded respectfully. Indeed, he hadn't been able to calm down for the past few days. However, it was still beyond his expectations that the earth pulse could reach the 16th level. You've used the ultimacy well. You have a strong grasp of it. I estimate that you're about to comprehend the second level of the ultimacy. Lan Xiao evaluated. Yi Xian agreed. However, the ultimacy wasn't a martial skill. His bloodline would increase his comprehension, so he had to rely on himself. Alright, the team is gathered. Let's go. Lan Xiao shook off the sweat on his body and walked out. Yi Xian calmed down and followed him. Now he was finally going to the Weapon King Hall. Moreover, he was going to cause a huge ruckus this time. Many of the Void God Realm kings from the Battle King Hall had gone to the chaotic astral ocean. However, the leader this time wasn't Lan Xiao. Instead, it was the Battle King Hall's great elder who had just returned from the chaotic astral ocean. With him around, the Battle King Hall and the Weapon King Hall had a higher chance of winning. The Battle King Hall was quite far from the Weapon King Hall. However, the Battle King Hall's team this time was made up of 8 Void God Realm kings, including Yi Xian. However, this wasn't the main point. The main point was that the Beast King Hall's main hall master happened to be in the Beast King Hall. He was a rank 9 king. In fact, with Hall Master Situ around, this wedding kidnapping mission was more or less guaranteed. Jiang Tianjin's father, Jiang Wenyue, was able to become a rank 9 king because his teacher was a palace master of the Sword God Palace. On the other hand, the Jiang family's great elder was only a rank 6 king. However, Yi Xian didn't know why, but he was still a little nervous. This time he would either succeed or die trying. 3 days later, the group arrived at the Weapon King Hall's territory. However, they didn't go to the Weapon King Hall immediately. Instead, they waited for the Beast King Hall's team in a mountain range. Aha, Hallmaster Lan, long time no see. A hearty laugh rang out. Yi Xian and the others turned around and saw a team of 10 people heading in their direction. Palace Master Situ, long time no see. Lan Yao hurriedly replied. Situ Outyin was the Beast King Hall's hall master. Before the Beast King Hall was split into 2, he was merely an elder. After taking up the position of hall master, he caught the eye of the Sword God Palace's palace master. From then on, his strength skyrocketed. The 2 groups converged. Situ Outyin flew over and glanced at the surrounding people. In the end, his gaze landed on the first elder of the Warlord Palace. He smiled and said, I didn't expect Elder Shi to also come back. How has the chaotic astral ocean been recently? The Grand Elder Shi he spoke of was the Grand Elder of the Warlord Hall, Shi Yonghao. It's not peaceful. The 3 major powers are in conflict again. The Great Elder of the Warlord Hall shook his head. Alright, let's not talk about this for now. Situ Outyin then turned his attention to Yi Xian. You must be Yi Chong and Jiang Xinyan's son. Although I don't know your parents, I know Duanmu Yun. You can say that I know her indirectly. Now Yi Xian also understood that Duanmu Yun was the hall master of the Warlord Hall, a peak Void God Realm king. At the same time, she was also the disciple of one of the palace masters of the Sword God Palace. It was her who had healed Yi Chong every time. Otherwise, Yi Chong wouldn't have been able to hold on. This time, with Hall Master Situ here, the Jiang family won't be able to cause any trouble. Lan Yao said with a smile. Who was Situ Outyin? He was a peak Void God Realm king who was only 1 step away from the Void God Realm Great Emperor. The Jiang family indeed had many experts, but Situ Outyin alone was enough to intimidate the entire Jiang family. That might not be the case. Jiang Qiancheng is Jiang Wenyue's son. Although Jiang Wenyue is still in the Sword God Palace, he might ask his martial brothers to come over. This time it won't be so easy. Situ Outyin shook his head and said, Jiang Wenyue's martial brothers? Everyone raised their eyebrows. Jiang Wenyue was already the palace master of the Sword God Palace, and his strength was even stronger than Situ Outyin. His martial brothers would at least be level 8 kings, level 9 kings, or even Void God Realm Great Emperors. If there was only one of them, it would be fine. However, if there were 2 of them, it would be troublesome. At that moment, Yi Xian was the most upset. His fiancée was being threatened, and he had no choice but to rely on others. This feeling was too unbearable. His aptitude was good, but he was too young. What he lacked was time. If he was given 1 or 2 more years, he was confident that he could defeat the entire King Tool Palace. Situ Outyin saw Yi Xian's expression and said, Don't worry, Duanmu Yun has already left the Sword God Palace. He might be here later. Hearing this, Yi Xian's eyes lit up. Duanmu Yun was Yi Chang's good friend. If he was here, he would definitely help. Alright, let's discuss the countermeasures first. Situ Outyin didn't let his guard down just because he was strong. This time, the marriage-snatching operation wasn't only for Yi Xian, but also for the sake of slapping the face of the Tool King Hall. If they failed, they would be humiliated. They couldn't afford to lose face. If Jiang Wenyue's martial brothers come, I will hold them back. However, at that time, Elder Shi and Palace Master Lan will have to hold them back. After that, Elder Feng will find an opportunity to get close to the brides and forcefully take them away with lightning speed. This was Situ Outyen's plan. The Elder Feng he mentioned was a rank 4 king from the Beast King Palace. He was of the wind attribute like Lan Xian, and he had also comprehended the wind acceleration profound. His speed was second only to Situ Outyen among those present. More than 10 kings were discussing, and Yi Xian was among them, carefully listening to the plan. He wasn't weak either, and he could be ranked in the middle among these people. Therefore he could still be of help. After a while, both sides finished their plan. Yi Xian, you will enter with the Beast King Palace's team later. With my help, the Jiang family won't be able to sense your bloodline. Even if Jiang Wenyue's martial brothers come, they won't be able to sense it since they aren't from the Jiang family, Situ Outyen said to Yi Xian. But Yi Xian suddenly thought of a problem. However, before he could finish, Shen Tulai continued, don't worry. When Jiang Wenjing came last time I was there too. They won't know that you are from the Battle King Palace. You just have to pretend to be my disciple later. Alright. Yi Xian nodded. This plan could be considered perfect, but he didn't know if it would go so smoothly. After that, the two teams entered the King Tool Palace one after another. The Battle King Palace's team entered first, and after half a day Yi Xian followed the Beast King Palace's team. Yi Xian, wait for instructions. Don't act on your own, Shen Tulai reminded him softly. I will. Chapter 648. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin Action. Soon the 11 people from the Beast King Hall entered the Weapon King Hall. Haha, I didn't expect Hall Master Situ to come as well. The Jiang Wenjing from that day suddenly appeared. How can I not come for such a joyous occasion? Situ Outyen grinned. Come this way please. Jiang Wenjing quickly received the 11 people. Elder Jiang, have Hall Master Lan and the rest arrived? Shen Tulai suddenly asked. Jiang Wenjing nodded. Yes. I have arranged their accommodations. By the time Yi Xian and the rest entered, it was already evening. The next day would be the big day of the Weapon King Hall. Soon, Jiang Wenjing arranged accommodations for Situ Outyen and the rest. Elder Jiang, where are the people from the Battle King Hall staying? Situ Outyen asked. Hall Master Situ, they are just opposite. Jiang Wenjing left after he finished speaking. Although Jiang Wenyue wasn't the Hall Master, he was a peak king of the Empty God realm. His position in the Jiang family was the highest. Therefore Jiang Tiancheng's wedding was naturally grand. Apart from the Battle King Hall and the Beast King Hall, there were many other guests who were coming. Therefore Jiang Wenjing had to attend to them. After he left, Situ Outyen and the rest knocked on the door of the opposite palace. The people from the Battle King Hall had arrived half a day earlier and had been waiting for a long time. However, there were more than 10 people in the Battle King Hall. He is Yi Xian. Lan Yao led a lady in blue over. The lady in blue was the young hall master of the Battle King Hall, Lan Yu. She was about 25 years old and was tall. She had a pretty face and was considered a beauty. However, there was a trace of guilt on her face as she said, I am sorry. I am the one who got them into trouble. If he had not brought Song Suijing and Judge Song into the wilderness, things would not have turned out this way. How is Suijing now? Yi Xian asked. She is fine. However, there is a grade 3 king watching over her. Even I don't know where he is. As for Judge Song, his injuries have stabilized. If he can't be cured, it will be difficult for him to cultivate in the future. Lan Yu replied. Level 3 king level? Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. If they knew the location of Song Suijing, they could make a move tonight. However, they did not know. This Weapon King Hall is really going too far. Ice Maiden is a member of my Battle King Hall, and even I can't see her. Tomorrow we must teach them a good lesson. Lan Yao said angrily. Then can I see Judge? Yi Xian asked again. Sure, come with me. Lan Yu nodded. TSK. Dual yin yang physique. I'll go take a look too. Situ Outyen's interest was piqued. Not only that, but he also followed quite a few people. After all, there hadn't been many fire attribute geniuses in the history of the Imperial Palace. Adjudicator Song's aptitude was also very good, but because he was seriously injured, even rejuvenation could only heal a little. If he wanted to fully recover, he would need some heavenly treasures. Therefore he was not chosen by the Tool King Hall. It was also because of this that no one was guarding him. Boom. The door of a small palace opened. This was the residence of Adjudicator Song. Saijue Song, who was cultivating inside, also stopped when he saw Lan Yu enter. Young Lord. Yi Xian? When Adjudicator Song saw Yi Xian behind Lan Yu, his body shook and he quickly stepped forward. Adjudicator Song quickly walked over and patted Yi Xian's shoulder as he asked in astonishment, "Yi Xian, why are you here?" After more than a year, the two met again, so it was inevitable that they would be a bit emotional. Yi Xian's mood was the same when he saw Song Ju. He sized him up and asked, "Judge, how are your injuries?" "My injuries have healed, but my sister actually agreed to marry the Jiang Tianqing for my sake." "Yi Xian, I'm sorry." Adjudicator Song's eyes turned red. At this time he only hated that he wasn't strong enough to protect Song Suijing. "I already know about this matter. This time I'm here to rescue you and Adjudicator Song. Can you see Adjudicator Song now? My sister is guarded by a third-grade king. Others can't, but I might be able to." Adjudicator Song nodded. Although the Tool King Hall didn't allow Lan Yu to enter, Adjudicator Song was still Song Suijing's brother, so the chances of success were higher. "Then you go now and tell her about this matter. When she comes out tomorrow, I will quickly bring you guys away," Elder Feng of the Beast King Hall said. "Alright, I'll go now." Adjudicator Song nodded. "Wait." Situ Outyin suddenly stopped Adjudicator Song and said, "If we know the little girl's location, we can take action tonight." "Alright." Adjudicator Song's eyes lit up as he quickly left. As for Yi Xian and the others, they stayed behind and waited. Including Lan Yu and the others, they had more than 20 Void God Realm Kings. As for the Tool King Hall, there were only 10 Void God Realm Kings. Most of them went to the chaotic astral ocean like the Battle King Hall and Beast King Hall. Soon, Adjudicator Song returned. "Yi Xian, I saw my sister. I told her everything. Her position is..." Song Ju ran over with a silly smile on his face. "Alright, since we know her location, let's take action now." Situ Outyin glanced at the surrounding people. Although the two King Halls wanted to slap the Tool King Hall's face this time, it would be a great slap if they could snatch the new year on the wedding day. However, there might be some changes tomorrow, so they felt that it was better to be safe and take action tonight. "Kid, you lead the way and I'll quickly rescue her. Then we'll leave," Situ Outyin said to Adjudicator Song. "Alright, many thanks, senior." Adjudicator Song's eyes lit up. Although he didn't know Situ Outyin, he knew that Situ Outyin was at least a 4th-grade Void God Realm King since he dared to rescue Lan Yu alone. "Since that's the case, we'll wait here. Once she arrives, we'll leave immediately," Lan Yao replied. Then Situ Outyin patted Adjudicator Song's shoulder and left. This speed had exceeded everyone's reaction. After all, Situ Outyin was a Void God Realm King. Adjudicator Song only felt his body become weightless as his vision turned dark. This meant that his current speed had exceeded his senses. Just now, he had reported Song Suijing's location. Although there were people on the way, they were only peak Void God Realm Kings. Situ Outyin was a peak Void God Realm King. Even Lan Yao and Elder Feng couldn't react to his speed, let alone these people. Pa! Situ Outyin's figure suddenly stopped. In front of him was a heavily guarded palace. Even if Adjudicator Song didn't say it, Situ Outyin knew that this was Song Suijing's room. Chapter 649. Meet who's there? The two guards at the entrance shouted. "You dare to shout at me when you're merely in the Void God Realm?" Situ Outyin glared at them and in the next moment, the two guards fainted. Situ Outyin's aura alone was enough to knock them out. Back then, Jiang Tianjin had relied on the difference in their cultivation to intimidate Yi Xian and the others. "Where's the third-grade king?" Situ Outyin asked. "He's in the palace," Judge Song replied. Bang! Before Judge Song's voice could fade away, the palace's door burst open. Until now, Judge Song still didn't know what attribute Situ Outyin possessed. "How dare you?" An old man walked out. An old man walked out. When he saw Situ Outyin's face, he was stunned. He cried out, "Hall Master Situ? Palace Master." After hearing the name, Judge Song finally realized who the person beside him was. It was actually the Palace Master of the Beast King Palace. A peak Void God Realm King. My apologies." Situ Outyin smiled coldly and in the next moment, the old man's body went limp. Judge Song, on the other hand, didn't feel any discomfort. Situ Outyin's aura alone was enough to knock a third-grade king out. This was the strength of a 9th-grade king. After that, Situ Outyin brought Saijua Song into the palace. The small palace was beautifully decorated and in a small room, Song Suijing sat quietly on a bed, wearing a white robe. "Sister." Suddenly a familiar voice sounded. Song Suijing raised her head and was startled when she saw Judge Song in front of her. "Brother, why are you? Don't say anything, let's go," Situ Outyin said and grabbed Song Suijing's arm and rushed out of the palace. In less than 10 seconds they had returned to Judge Song's residence. Judge Song? Yi Xian, who was waiting inside, immediately rushed forward when he saw the three of them. Yi Xian. Song Suijing finally couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into tears. She threw herself into Yi Xian's arms. After more than a year, the two of them finally met again. During this time, Yi Xian had encountered countless life and death crises, but he had survived them all. This was his faith. So right now, we'll leave in a bit. Yi Xian gently stroked Song Suijing's hair and whispered into her ear. Everyone present watched silently. No one made a sound. They just watched quietly, not wanting to disturb. After a long time, Yi Xian separated from Song Suijing. The former looked around and said, Hall Master Situ Seniors, Yi Xian thanks you all. Hey, don't thank me yet. We haven't left yet. I've only just returned half a favor, Situ Ao Tian said with a smile. Half a favor? Yi Xian was stunned. I owe Duanmu Yin a favor. I'll only return it after I get all of you out of here, Situ Ao Tian replied. Yi Xian understood. Shen Tulai said, All right, let's leave before the Weapon King Hall finds out. Although we can't slap them in the face, saving people is more important. At this moment, Lan Yao suddenly suggested, Why don't we split into two groups? One group will take Yi Xian and the others away and the other group will cause a ruckus? Good idea. The Weapon King Hall is too arrogant. They don't respect our two halls at all. They just casually dealt with the Great Wilderness team this time. Cause a ruckus. Otherwise, the world will think that there's only one Weapon King Hall in the Eastern continent. I agree. The elders of the two king palaces were yelling at the same time. Don't be hasty. Situ Ao Tian suddenly said, When I went to save people, I didn't see many people along the way. It was empty, so I feel that the Weapon King Hall should have known that we would do this. What? Everyone raised their eyebrows. The Weapon King Hall knew that they were going to rob the wedding? Could there be a traitor? However, the Weapon King Hall was not stupid. The Jiang family was the backbone of the Hall Masters. It was the biggest power in the Hall Masters. There were many capable people, so it was reasonable for them to have guessed it. Let's go. We'll know whether it's true or not. We have so many people, so we're not afraid of them. Situ Ao Tian led everyone out of the palace. Yi Xian, Song Suijing, and Adjudicator Song were in the group. Now they had to leave. If there was really an ambush, they would have to fight to the death. Otherwise, they would be able to leave safely. The group of experts began to run wildly toward the entrance of the Weapon King Hall. After running for a while, they did not see anyone from the Weapon King Hall. It seemed that there was indeed an ambush. I'm afraid this wedding is just a cover. Their purpose is to gather us together. Situ Ao Tian suddenly stopped. Could it be that the Weapon King Hall wants to catch all of us in one fell swoop? And then take over the two Hall Masters? Lan Yao's heart skipped a beat. The Weapon King Hall, the Warlord Hall, and the Beast King Hall were the three superpowers after the Hall Masters were split up. The Weapon King Hall was the most powerful among them. Once they were defeated, the Weapon King Hall would become the overlord of the Eastern continent. They could unite and rebuild the glory of the Weapon King Hall. However, the Jiang family would be in charge of the Weapon King Hall in the future. No, their target might only be you and me. Situ Ao Tian shook his head. Lan Yao was confused. He asked, Only the two of us? In the next moment he understood. Situ Ao Tian was the main Hall Master of the Beast King Hall, and he was the Deputy Hall Master of the Warlord Hall. Both of them were Hall Masters, so there must be some secrets between them. As for the others, they were confused as well. They did not know what the two Hall Masters were talking about. Let's go and take a look. Situ Ao Tian began to run again. In the group of the two Hall Masters, the stronger one was Situ Ao Tian, who was a grade 9 king. The weaker one was only a peak empty god. However, there were a few hundred people waiting outside of the Weapon King Hall. When Situ Ao Tian ran out of the Weapon King Hall, he saw a large group of people standing in the night sky. They were the experts from the Weapon King Hall. Hall Master Situ, you are finally out. A Jiang family member walked out. It was Jiang Wenjing. When Yi Xian and the others saw the scene, they were shocked. It was indeed an ambush. How could this be? Song Suijing was shocked. Oh, it is indeed so. Situ Ao Tian walked out and asked, Jiang Wenjing, what do you want to do today? Jiang Wenjing smiled. We don't want to do anything. As long as Hall Master Situ and Hall Master Lan hand over something each, you can leave today. What is it? Lan Yao could not help but ask. Although he already had a rough idea of what was going on, he did not know what was going on. Chapter 650. Translator, Exodus Tales Editor. Exodus Tales Heart of the Great Emperor, the map of the location of the Great Emperor's heart. Jiang Wenjing shouted. There are 3 maps in total. Each of the 3 great palaces has one. Only when the 3 maps are put together can we find the location of the great emperor's death. Hall Master Situ, don't tell me you don't know? Haha, you are indeed here for the map. Situ Outyin sneered. I have heard about the map from the Hall Master, but I don't have it. Lan Yao said indifferently. After all, he was only a deputy Hall Master. It doesn't matter if you have it or not. As long as you hand over your interspatial rings, you can leave, Jiang Wenjing said. Situ Outyin snorted and said loudly, You think you can do that? Although the Jiang family seemed to have a lot of people, most of them were ordinary empty gods who had not even reached the king realm. Their real combat strength was only slightly more than 10 kings. Not to mention Situ Outyin, Lan Yao and the others were enough to defeat the king of weapons Hall. Therefore Situ Outyin was not needed. Hall Master Situ, you're a 9th grade king. You can kill all of us effortlessly. However, since we're able to trap you here this time, we're naturally confident. After Jiang Wenjing finished speaking, he looked up at the starry sky and shouted, Lord Feng. Indeed, the Jiang family had helpers. When Jiang Wenjing's voice entered everyone's ears, they saw a white figure slowly descending from the sky. It was a man with long hair. He looked gentle and elegant and seemed very easygoing. Feng Shizhe, it's you? Situ Outyin recognized him. Feng Shizhe was the disciple of one of the palace masters of the Sword God Palace. He had joined the Sword God Palace earlier than Jiang Wenyue, so he was Jiang Wenyue's senior. Junior is guarding the last level of the Sword God Pagoda. Even if it is nephew Chancheng's big day, he can't leave. Therefore I will do it for him. The man in white, Feng Shizhe, said with a smile. Do you think you can stop me? Situ Outyin looked at Feng Shizhe. He was the disciple of the Sword God Palace Master and so was Feng Shizhe. Both of them were empty God Realm kings. They would only know who was stronger after a fight. Situ Outyin, you should hand over that map. It's good for you, Feng Shizhe said with a smile. Let's not talk about the map first. What do you want the great emperor's heart for? Situ Outyin asked again. Feng Shizhe replied, It's very simple. Although junior brother has become the palace master, he can no longer intervene in the affairs of the eastern continent. Although the great sovereign's heart is just a legend, you and I both know that it's real. If there's a great sovereign's heart, there's a great sovereign's corpse. It's a supreme treasure for a void god realm king. So you're saying that you want the monster race great emperor's corpse? Situ Outyin understood. That's right. Although this monster race great emperor's corpse can't comprehend the will of the great emperor, it can comprehend the profound. With it, the Tool King Hall will be able to last for a long time, Feng Shizhe replied. Now, Yi Xian and the others finally understood one thing. The heart of the great emperor was real. If the Tool King Hall obtained the monster race great emperor's corpse, they would be able to suppress the Beast King Hall and Battle King Hall in less than 10 years. Even if the 2 King Halls joined forces, they might not be a match for them. Hehe, if that's the case, then all the more I can't give you the map. Moreover, I've hidden the map. If you want to know where it is, you'll have to defeat me first. Situ Outyin's blood was boiling as his battle-intent soared. It doesn't matter if you have it or not. As long as all of you hand over your Chen Kuan rings, Feng Shizhe replied coldly. If that's the case, then there's nothing more to say. Situ Outyin squinted his eyes and said softly, If we fight later, I'll take care of Feng Shizhe. Great Elder and I will take care of the Jiang family's old master, Lan Yao said. He and Great Elder Shi Yonghao were both rank 5 kings. It shouldn't be a problem for them to take care of the Jiang family's old master, who was a rank 6 king. Then I'll take care of Jiang Tianjin, Beast King Palace's Great Elder said. He was also a rank 5 king. Senior, please be careful. This kid didn't use his full strength that day, but he was able to fight evenly with me. He's not an ordinary person, Lan Yao reminded. Yes, this kid is already a rank 4 king. His talent is heaven-defying. I'm afraid he has comprehended many profounds. Beast King Palace's Great Elder nodded. Now the high-level combatants had been assigned. Great Elder Lan, I heard that you can control a huge golden sword. You can take these kids and leave later. I'll escort you, Great Elder Feng said. He was a rank 4 king. Coupled with the wind acceleration profound, his speed was second only to Situ Outyin among the people present. Most importantly, he had a unique secret skill. It wouldn't be a problem for him to escort these people out. What about you, senior? Yi Xian asked hastily. Don't worry. Although the 3 king palaces have split up, we've worked together before. Moreover, Duanmu Yun and I are from the Sword God's palace. They won't kill us, Situ Outyin said. Just leave and don't get caught by them. We'll be fine. Senior, the two of us can also fight. Song Suijing suddenly stepped forward. This time, if it weren't for them, how would things have ended up like this? How's your battle strength? Situ Outyin asked curiously. It was his first time seeing the yin-yang twin physique. Great Elder Song and Song Suijing glanced at each other and said, "My sister and I are both rank 1st kings. We can fight a rank 2 king. If we join forces, we can even fight a rank 3 king. It's indeed powerful. Is this the legendary twin senses?" Situ Outyin asked. Yes. Great Elder Song nodded. Twin senses was one of the characteristics of the yin-yang twin physique. As long as the two siblings were close together, their battle strength would increase by a lot. This was something they had comprehended after coming out of the wilderness. If that's the case, then I'll only send these void god brats out. Lan Xiao nodded. He alone was not a big target. Moreover, his defense was extremely strong, even stronger than Shintu Lai's. As long as no rank 4 kings came, he would be fine. Alright, then it's settled. Don't kill anyone unless it's absolutely necessary, especially the Jiang family. Situ Outyin reminded. The Jiang family was supported by Jiang Wenyue and Jiang Xinyan. If they killed a member of the Jiang family, Jiang Wenyue would definitely be furious. After all, Jiang Wenyue was now the palace master of the Sword God's palace. At this moment, Feng Shizhe suddenly shouted, "Situ Outyin, have you finished discussing? There are so many officials waiting." Other than the people from the Weapon King Palace, there were also the various factions under the Weapon King Palace. Although these factions were not strong, they had enough weight. No matter who won or lost this battle, it would immediately spread to every corner of the eastern continent. Chapter 651. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Henyi Translations Jiang Tianqing, whoosh whoosh. The night wind blew as the two sides faced off. Now it was time to see who would make the first move. After a few seconds of silence, Situ Outyin's battle intent exploded. He looked up and roared, "Attack!" In the next moment, Lan Yao and the rest dashed out. Situ Outyin took the lead and unleashed his true qi. His aura covered the area as he tried to knock out those who were at a lower cultivation base. However, Feng Shizhe was also an empty god realm peak king. He had expected Situ Outyin to do so. Hence, he activated his territory and blocked Situ Outyin's attack. "Situ Outyin, let's fight." Feng Shizhe roared as he charged at Situ Outyin with a long sword in his hand. The two started to fight as they rose into the air. At the same time, Lan Xiao took out a special golden boat and sent the peak empty god realm members of Warlord Hall onto it. He then drove the boat away. Humph, Lan Xiao is the previous deputy hall master. He might have a map. Stop him. Jiang Wenjing shouted. Then he sped up the battle. At the same time, the Jiang family great elder who was hiding in the crowd could no longer sit still. He quickly revealed himself. The appearance of a rank 6 king gave the crowd a lot of pressure. "Great Elder Jiang, how have you been?" Lan Yao and the Grand Elder of Warlord Hall, Shi Yonghao, had been waiting for a long time. "I haven't fought for many years. I'm a little rusty. However, this isn't something the two of you can stop." The Jiang family great elder narrowed his eyes. "We'll know after we fight. This is the betrothal gift. I'll return it to you." Lan Yao narrowed his eyes and threw Jiang Wenjing's interspatial ring over. In the next moment, the three of them started to fight. Situ Outyin and Feng Shizhe were the first battlefield. Lan Yao, Shi Yonghao, and the Jiang family great elder were the second. As for the experts of the third battlefield, they were still standing and watching. "Is that the old master of the Jiang family, my grandfather in name?" Yi Xian thought to himself as he looked at the old figure. His mother, Jiang Xinyan, was the Jiang family great elder's daughter. Hence, he was the old man's grandson. Of course, the other party would definitely not admit it. "Yi Xian, you actually dared to come to my Jiang family. I originally wanted to let you live a little longer, but since you want to die, then don't blame me." Jiang Tianjin of the Jiang family had also appeared. He looked down at Yi Xian from high up in the sky. In the next moment he rushed down. This Jiang Tianjin was the same as when he fought Lan Yao. He was very cold. Everyone in the Jiang family knew that Jiang Tianjin had two personalities, which were split personalities. One of them had an evil personality, and that was him. He had tortured Yi Xian twice and killed Wei Zhentian. He liked to hold a folding fan. However, his current personality was cold and merciless, showing no mercy at all. "Jiang Tianjin, your opponent is me." The great elder of the Beast King Palace also flew into the sky. His realm was even higher than Jiang Tianjin's. He was a grade 5 king. Whatever. I'll deal with you first." Jiang Tianjin glanced at Yi Xian before charging towards the Beast King Hall's great elder. In the crowd, Suijing Jujing, why don't the three of us work together? The young master of the battle King Hall Lan Yu suddenly came over. The three of them had fought together many times and their cooperation was perfect. The three of them had also gained some benefits from this trip to the Great Wilderness. Lan Yu had broken through from Grade 1 King to Grade 2 King. Song Suijing and Song Jujing had also broken through to Grade 1 King. The three of them had rare attributes. If they worked together, it wouldn't be a problem for them to deal with a Grade 3 King. After hearing this, Song Suijing couldn't help but glance at Yi Xian. You guys go. I'll be fine by myself. Yi Xian nodded. Now that he knew the strength of the siblings, he was more at ease. After all, she would grow up and he couldn't be their protection forever. Instead of protecting them, he would rather let them grow stronger. Yi Xian, now that the experts have joined the battle, you will be exposed if you get close. If you take out the Bahuang sword, you will be recognized instantly. Therefore, I think it's best if you don't make a move. Shen Tuli came over and reminded him softly. I understand. Yi Xian nodded. The bloodline was actually easier to explain. After all, the Jiang family had left many descendants outside. However, if he took out the Bahuang sword, it would only make the situation worse. At that time there might be casualties. The others joined the battle one by one. Even Song Suijing and the other two had gone out. Yi Xian quietly stayed beside Shen Tuli. At this moment, a fish that had escaped the net suddenly flew over. Brat, you must be Ice Girl's fiancé? A young man holding a long sword looked coldly at Yi Xian. He is Jiang Tiancheng. Shen Tuli whispered. Jiang Tiancheng was Jiang Wenyue's youngest son and Jiang Tianjin's younger brother. He was going to marry Song Suijing tomorrow. According to others, Jiang Tiancheng had comprehended two profound meanings and had reached Grade 2 King. Yi Xian, stay here and don't move. I'll take care of him. Shen Tuli did not wait for Yi Xian to speak. He was ready to rush out but was stopped by Yi Xian. Elder Shen Tuli, I'll do it myself. Yi Xian took out a mid-grade ethereal god weapon and slowly walked out. Although he could not use the Bahuang sword, he was still a Grade 2 King. Even without the Bahuang sword, he was confident that he could defeat Jiang Tiancheng. Since the Jiang family wanted all their Chengkuan rings, he would give them a taste of their own medicine. Good lad, you really dare to come out. Humph, how dare you steal my woman? I'll show you what it means to be strong. Jiang Tiancheng looked at Yi Xian, who was walking out step by step, and said coldly in his heart. Although it was just an act this time, he did not mind having another concubine. Moreover, this concubine was quite pretty. She had the yin-yang dual body of the ice attribute. She was much stronger than his wife and other concubines. Come on. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. Boom. 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 The other areas were already busy fighting. Hence, they did not delay and both sides unleashed their domains. Yi Xian's domain was more than 20,000 meters. However, Jiang Tiancheng's domain was more than 30,000 meters. Jiang Tiancheng was not a Grade 2 King but a Grade 3 King. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. It seemed that the information was outdated. However, it did not matter. He was just a Grade 3 King. He would still beat him. Kill? Jiang Tiancheng's eyes flashed as he swept towards Yi Xian. What surprised both parties was that the other party was also of the Earth attribute. Also of the Earth attribute? Great. Chapter 652. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Henyi Translations Abuse. Boom, boom, boom. Both Yi Xian and Jiang Tiancheng were of the Earth attribute. Hence, the battle would not take place in the air but on the ground. Jiang Tiancheng had comprehended the Earth Walking Technique and the Earth Throbbing Technique. Among them, the Earth Throbbing Technique had been upgraded to the 8th level, which was the same as Yi Xian's. Unfortunately, Yi Xian's Earth Throbbing Technique had been upgraded to the 16th level. Moreover, Yi Xian had the ultimacy of power. Currently, he was at a disadvantage only in terms of the cultivation level of the virtual god weapon. On the other hand, he was strong in terms of bloodline, ultimacy, and dual territories. Kacha. 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 Both of their earth territories could control the soil and form earth spikes to attack. However, both of them had earth walls. Hence, in terms of territories, there was not much difference between them. However, now Yi Xian's original body had made a move. Collapsing heavenly slash. Yi Xian slashed forward viciously. An attack that contained the 16th level of the earth throbbing technique swept towards Jiang Tiancheng. Jiang Tianjin had tortured him twice and killed Wei Jintian. Hence, this time Yi Xian wanted to get back some interest from Jiang Tianjin's younger brother, Jiang Tiancheng. Insignificant skill. Go. Facing this attack, Jiang Tiancheng did not think much of it. He also slashed out a ray of sword energy. The two rays of sword energy broke through the air and collided with each other. Bam, bam, bam. 16 dull sounds were heard. Jiang Tianqing's sword energy was destroyed by the collapsing heavenly slash. What? Jiang Tianqing was stunned. Just now he had indeed heard 16 dull sounds. However, they were definitely not the result of the collision of the 8th level of the earth-throbbing technique. This was the 16th level of the earth-throbbing technique. Before he could recover from his shock, the collapsing heavenly slash had already swept over. He was forced to form an earth wall. Bam, bam, bam. As expected, there were 16 vibrations. It was indeed the 16th level of the earth-throbbing technique. The earth wall was easily destroyed. The collapsing heavenly slash was already in front of Jiang Tianqing. Damn it! Jiang Tianqing thrust the long sword in his hand forward in an attempt to block the attack. Bang, bang, bang. The heaven-shattering slash, which contained 16 layers of the throbbing pulse of the earth, did not lose much of its power after passing through 2 layers of barriers. This slash landed directly on Jiang Tianqing's mid-grade ethereal god weapon. Jiang Tianqing felt a sharp pain in his hands. He felt as if his hands were no longer his. Boom. After the last shockwave dissipated, Jiang Tianqing was finally sent flying. Good chance. Yi Xian's eyes lit up. In the next moment, spikes appeared on the trajectory of Jiang Tianqing's flight. Rip, rip, rip. Incomparably sharp earth spikes pierced through Jiang Tianqing's body. There were dozens of them and they all avoided his vitals, causing great mental damage to Jiang Tianqing. Jiang Tianjin tormented me. Today I will take some interest from you. Yi Xian's face was cold. Suddenly sharp and slender spikes appeared from the ground and pierced through Jiang Tianqing's body again. Ah! Jiang Tianqing was in so much pain that he could not help but howl at the sky. He could not understand why he was defeated by Yi Xian in one strike despite being a grade 3 dominator. If Yi Xian wanted to kill him he would have died countless times just now. They were both of the earth attribute, but why was the gap so huge? He could not accept this, he could not accept this. However, he was the second genius of the Jiang family. If he could not win it would be too embarrassing to call for help. Therefore he gritted his teeth and endured. Poof, poof, poof. One by one the spikes pierced into Jiang Tianqing's body. The sound was extremely pleasing to Yi Xian's ears. Jiang Tianqing's 2 arms had already been pierced by more than 10 spikes from different angles. He couldn't move at all. Elder Shintu. At this moment Yi Xian suddenly shouted. Shintu Lai immediately understood. He expanded his domain and took the interspatial ring from Jiang Tianqing's hand. The metal domain could control all metals within the domain. Jiang Tianqing could not move at all. He could only watch as the interspatial ring flew out of his hand. The empty God realm experts who were invited to watch were dumbfounded. Who was Jiang Tianqing? He was Jiang Tianjin's younger brother, Jiang Wenyue's youngest son. What about Jiang Wenyue? He was the palace master of the Sword God Palace. Yi Xian actually tortured Jiang Tianqing in front of so many Jiang family members. He even pierced a few of Jiang Tianqing's ears and took away Jiang Tianqing's interspatial ring. That brat is really bold. This was the thought in the hearts of the spectators. This brat has a huge grudge against the Jiang family. Shintu Lai swallowed his saliva and controlled the interspatial ring to pass to Yi Xian. At the same time Jiang Tianjin, who was fighting nearby, was furious when he saw his younger brother being tortured by Yi Xian. He immediately turned around and charged toward Yi Xian. Oh no! The Beast King Palace's Grand Elder's face sank. He was a grade 5 king while Jiang Tianjin was a grade 4 king. However, Jiang Tianjin was able to challenge him and fight him to a draw. If Jiang Tianjin was allowed to get close to Yi Xian, wouldn't Yi Xian be dead for sure? The Beast King Palace's Grand Elder immediately intercepted Jiang Tianjin and prevented him from getting close to Yi Xian. Old man, do you think you can stop me? Jiang Tianjin shouted. Suddenly, a fire doppelganger appeared 10,000 meters away. Fire attribute profound fire clone. What? He's still holding back. The Beast King Palace's Grand Elder was shocked. After fighting with Jiang Tianjin for a while, he already knew that Jiang Tianjin had comprehended inextinguishable flames and rising from the ashes. Now he actually had another fire clone. A grade 4 king who had comprehended 3 profound, this was simply heaven-defying. Brat, I wanted to show you your father's miserable state, but you didn't know how to cherish it. The cold Jiang Tianjin's eyes flickered as he controlled the fire clone to slash at Yi Xian. Not good. Shintu Lai's face sank. He hurriedly formed golden ramparts around Yi Xian and Jiang Tianjin's fire clones. However, Jiang Tianjin had also comprehended inextinguishable flames, and his attack power was very strong. The sword qi directly destroyed the golden ramparts and swept towards Yi Xian. If Yi Xian was hit, he would probably die instantly. Right at this moment, Yi Xian's aura suddenly surged. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a grade 3 king. There were many things in Jiang Tianqing's yin and yang ring, which directly raised Yi Xian's realm by one level. The current Yi Xian's battle power had at least increased by several times. Heaven-shattering slash. Yi Xian's expression was grave as he slashed out. Without using Bahuang's sword, this was already his strongest attack. Chapter 653. Translator. Exodus Tales Editor. Exodus Tales. He blocked it? Shen Tulai had no other way to deal with this attack. Although he reacted, his speed was not fast enough to form the golden rampart. Yi Xian could only rely on himself now. This time he only had one chance to make a move. In fact, he could use the underground movement technique to escape, but his resentment towards Jiang Tianjin was too great. This time he did not want to hide. Colossal heavenly killing slash, break for me. Yi Xian roared in his heart as he fiercely slashed down with his sword. However, at this moment, ding! The host has comprehended the profound of lifting heavy as light. The sudden notification caused the power of Yi Xian's sword to increase by at least one-fold. After the profound of power, there was another profound of second level, which was lifting heavy as light. After that, there was another profound of third level, which was lifting light as heavy. Previously, when he was sparring with Lan Xiao in the Warlord Hall, Lan Xiao had said that Yi Xian was too impatient at that time, so his control over his strength wasn't perfect. If he were to calm down, he might be able to comprehend how to lift heavy objects as if they were light. Now, after seeing that Song Suijing and Judge Song were fine, Yi Xian's mind suddenly became clear, and he finally comprehended lifting heavy as light. Xiao. The colossal heavenly killing slash instantly destroyed the sword qi of Jiang Tianjin's flame clone, and then quickly moved towards the flame clone. The profound of power was already powerful, and lifting heavy as light was even more powerful. The power of this sword had at least doubled. Boom! The colossal heavenly killing slash landed on the flame clone, causing it to shake violently. Although its attribute was restrained, the power of this attack was enough to destroy one of Jiang Tianjin's flame clones. However, just as the flame clone was about to be destroyed, Jiang Tianjin suddenly rushed over. The flame clone re-entered Jiang Tianjin's domain, and in the next moment, Jiang Tianjin used one of his trump cards. The profound he comprehended was not only inextinguishable raging flames, rising from the ashes and flame clone, but also a second-level profound. Raging flames incinerate the heavens. Explode for me. Jiang Tianjin's eyes flashed, and in the next moment, the flame clone suddenly exploded. What? Yi Xian widened his eyes and so did Shen Tulai. Jiang Tianjin actually had another trump card. Boom. A wave of flame instantly swept out. Shen Tulai had already put up layers of defense, but he was worried about Yi Xian. Earth wall, wind wall. This time Yi Xian could no longer hide anything. The earthen walls were imbued with the 16 waves of the throbbing pulse of the world. The wind wall's defensive capabilities were not weak either, but in the end, it was unable to withstand the raging flames of the heavens. Yi Xian! Shen Tulai exclaimed. Boom! The shockwave had already reached Yi Xian. In the next moment, Yi Xian was instantly sent flying. The inextinguishable inferno was originally very difficult to deal with, and this move, raging flames incinerate the heavens, was the most powerful of all the profound meanings. If it had been a level 5 king tier, perhaps he would have been able to withstand it. However, Yi Xian was only a level 3 king tier. Furthermore, his attributes were countered by Yi Xian's attacks. The huge commotion had attracted many people's attention. Song Suijing, who was working together with Judge Song and Lan Yu, turned around and couldn't help but exclaim. Tears involuntarily gushed out of her eyes. As for the others, they were shocked by Jiang Tianjin's actions. This Jiang Tianjin is actually killing people from the 2 king palaces. Why is he doing this? Are they going to shed all pretense of cordiality? This is too terrifying. He actually comprehended so many profound meanings. What a genius. Although that brat is also very strong and was able to beat Jiang Tianqing to the point that he couldn't fight back, after being hit by the raging flames incinerate the heavens, even if he isn't burned to death by the inextinguishable inferno, he will still be smashed to pieces. What a joke. Of course he will be burned to death. The inextinguishable inferno is no joke. The spectators were discussing in private. Not only them but even the people from the Tool King Palace were confused. What is Tianjin doing? Didn't he say that he wouldn't kill anyone? Now that one of them is dead, won't Situ Outyin go crazy? Jiang Tianjin's uncle Jiang Wenjing thought in his heart. At this moment, Situ Outyin, who was in the first battlefield, also noticed the commotion. Damn it, this Jiang Tianjin actually killed Yi Xian. Situ Outyin roared in his heart. Yi Xian was Yi Chong's son, and Yi Chong was on good terms with Duanmu Yun. He originally wanted to return a favor to Duanmu Yun, but he did not take good care of Yi Xian, causing Yi Xian to be killed by Jiang Tianjin. Feng Shizha, if you don't back off, don't blame me for killing you. Situ Outyin roared hysterically. Feng Shizha was stunned. He could feel Situ Outyin's anger. Although he did not know who Yi Xian was, he could see that Yi Xian was very important to Situ Outyin. This is bad. Jiang Tianjin didn't know how to control his strength. This is going to be troublesome. Feng Shizha's face darkened. However, he still could not let Situ Outyin leave. What if Situ Outyin rushed over and killed Jiang Tianjin? Jiang Tianjin was the son of the Sword God Palace Master, Jiang Wenyue. Situ Outyin, this is because you didn't hand over the map. Feng Shizha shouted. If that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Situ Outyin's eyes turned red as he threw out 18 middle-grade void divine weapons from his interspatial ring. 18 gold swords array go. Situ Outyin had already used his trump card. This move was taught by his master. Those who were not empty God Realm Great Emperors would not be able to withstand it. Oh no, this is the ultimate move of Luoyang Palace Master. Feng Shizha's face changed drastically as he quickly retreated. Feng Shizha was the disciple of a palace master. No matter how bold Situ Outyin was, he would not dare to kill Feng Shizha. This move was just to intimidate Feng Shizha. The 18 gold swords flew towards Feng Shizha, while Situ Outyin flew towards Yi Xian. However, at this moment the atmosphere had calmed down. The shock wave from the explosion had already subsided. Shen Tulai's gold armor and gold bulwark were all shattered. However, as he was too far away, he did not suffer any serious injuries. Jiang Tiancheng was only blown away and did not suffer any serious injuries. As for Yi Xian, he was nowhere to be seen. He was instantly struck by the inextinguishable flames. That was what everyone thought. However, right at that moment, a figure appeared 10,000 meters away. Yi Xian. Everyone was shocked. He was not dead after being struck by the raging flames at such a close distance? How did he survive? The question was actually very simple. Yi Xian had taken out the 8 Desolate Sword and formed the 8 Desolate Shield. Although he wanted to conceal himself, he would have been killed by the raging flames if he continued to hide at such a crucial moment. Gotcha. The 8 Desolate Shield reformed into the 8 Desolate Sword. Yi Xian held it in his hand and flew over unscathed. Elder Shintu, are you alright? Yi Xian asked immediately. I'm fine. Shintu Lai shook his head with a pale face. Chapter 654. Exposed. At this moment, Yi Xian had become the center of attention. At the same time, the Jiang family members also felt that something was amiss. Bloodline. Yi Xian actually had the Jiang family's bloodline in him. What's going on? I can sense his bloodline. Is he also a member of the Jiang family? That can't be. How can we not recognize a member of the Jiang family? Maybe he's a child left behind by someone. Then this talent is too terrifying. Just whose seed is it? The Jiang family experts were discussing softly. Even Jiang Wenjing was the same. He also sensed the bloodline in Yi Xian's body. Patriarch Jiang also noticed this. At this moment, he suddenly focused on the Bahuang sword in Yi Xian's hand. Bahuang sword? The Jiang family's grand elder exclaimed in disbelief. What? When the surrounding people heard this, they also focused on Yi Xian's hand. Indeed, it was the Bahuang sword. At this moment, they suddenly remembered the name that Shintu Lai had shouted. Yi Xian. He's Yi Chong's son. Jiang Wenjing exclaimed. Patriarch Jiang had a total of 3 children. His eldest son was Jiang Wenyue, his second son was Jiang Wenjing, and his third daughter was Jiang Xinyan. Strictly speaking, Jiang Wenjing was also Yi Xian's uncle. When the 2 words Yi Chong entered the ears of the surrounding people, many of them were confused. Yi Chong is the undying sword god. A scout shouted. At this moment, everyone understood. Yi Xian was actually the undying sword god's son. Didn't that mean that Yi Xian was also a member of the Jiang family? Have you finally recognized me? Yi Xian held the Bahuang sword and coldly looked at the group of experts who had suddenly stopped fighting. The Bahuang sword, coupled with the bloodline connection, had already exposed his identity. Next, it would depend on the Jiang family's attitude. Not good. Situ Outyin's expression was gloomy. Yi Xian's identity was exposed in the end. After all, he knew the Jiang family's attitude. So it's Yi Chang's son. Capture him. The Jiang family's old master immediately bellowed while blowing his beard. Yi Xian was Jiang Xinyan's son, which made him her grandson. However, the Jiang family's old man didn't treat Yi Xian as his family. Is that so? When Yi Xian heard this, his heart turned cold. His killing intent was obvious. The Jiang family still had the same attitude as 20 years ago. They didn't recognize him at all. In that case, there was no need for him to show mercy. Jiang Wenjing immediately rushed towards Yi Xian, preparing to capture Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian had already become a grade 3 king. He wasn't afraid of Jiang Wenjing, who was also a grade 3 king. 8 Baron Wind formation go. Yi Xian shattered the Bahuang sword once again and rushed towards Jiang Wenjing. If not for the fact that Jiang Wenjing was Jiang Xinyan's older brother, Yi Xian would have already killed him with the sword-shattering stars. Jiang Wenjing snorted coldly and began to deal with the 8 blades. Right now, Yi Xian's throbbing pulse of the earth had already transformed to the 16th level, which was extremely powerful. Just these 8 sharp blades were enough for Jiang Wenjing to drink. If Yi Xian used his wind and earth domains, Jiang Wenjing would probably die at his hands even if his true body didn't intervene. So powerful. Is that the Bahuang sword god's weapon? That's terrifying. He didn't even use his domain. His weapon alone is enough to hold Jiang Wenjing back. If he used his domain, Jiang Wenjing's life would be in danger. That's not the point. The 3 moves of the Bahuang sword art are the Bahuang sword god's ultimate moves. I wonder if that kid has mastered them. If he did, even Jiang Tianjin would be in danger. The surrounding people looked at each other in dismay. At this moment, the strength that Yi Xian displayed had already intimidated them. If Yi Xian was given a few more years, he would definitely be able to surpass the Jiang family and even be taken a fancy to by a certain palace master of the Sword God Palace. This kid must know what we did to him and his son. If we let him grow up, our Jiang family will be in big trouble. Jiang family's great elder thought to himself. Now, Yi Xian understood the Jiang family's attitude and immediately shouted, "Let's go! Jiang Tianjin, let's fight." He had been holding back this sentence for a long time. At this moment, he already had the strength to clamor with Jiang Tianjin. Today he was going to settle the old score. However, just as Yi Xian was about to attack, everyone stop. Suddenly, an explosive shout entered everyone's ears, and then a figure descended from the sky. As soon as he appeared, everyone present trembled and couldn't move at all. What's going on? Everyone was confused. They turned their heads and saw a middle-aged man on top of the door of the King Tool Hall. This is... Feng Shizhe and Situ Outyin opened their eyes wide. They knew the middle-aged man. Greetings, senior brother Wu Shang. Feng Shizhe and Situ Outyin cupped their fists at the same time. Although the middle-aged man in front of them was not the palace master of the Sword God Palace, he had broken through the shackles of the Empty God Realm sovereign and reached the Empty God Realm Great Emperor. At the same time, he had another identity. He was the son of the Tai Sword God. So powerful. Is this the Great Emperor's will? The people below swallowed their saliva and couldn't move at all. They were suppressed by a strange energy. This was the Great Emperor's will. At this moment, the middle-aged man seemed to be the master of the world. No one dared to disobey him. The palace master of the Tai Sword God Palace has ordered that Feng Shizhe and Situ Outyin are not to participate in the affairs of the Eastern Continent, Wu Shang said to the two. Yes. Feng Shizhe and Situ Outyin nodded at the same time. Then Wu Shang looked at Jiang Tianjin and said, Jiang Tianjin, the Nine Heavens Sword God has decided to accept you as his disciple. Do you agree? What? Everyone present was shocked. The Nine Heavens Sword God Palace Master was once the Palace Master of the Sword God Palace. However, he had fallen a long time ago. The current Nine Heavens Sword God Palace Master was Jiang Tianjin's father, Jiang Wenyue. I agree. Jiang Tianjin's eyes flashed. Although the Nine Heavens Sword God was his father was an outsider. He needed the approval of the other palace masters to accept a disciple. As long as he entered the Sword God Palace, he would be heavily nurtured. After all, his father was also a palace master. At that time, his strength would increase by leaps and bounds. He might even become a grade 9 sovereign. Afterwards, Wu Shang intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Yi Xian and locked onto the Bahuang sword. However, he didn't say anything and didn't intend to take back the Bahuang sword. This was what the Tai Sword God Palace Master, who was also his father, wanted. He still remembered his father's words, this kid has a bright future ahead of him. That was why he made a move at the critical moment. He thought that Yi Xian wouldn't be able to defeat Jiang Tianjin for the time being. The eastern continent hasn't been peaceful recently. Don't make a fuss. Let's forget about today's matter. Wu Shang looked around and said. In the next moment, everyone felt the pressure on their bodies disappear without a trace, and they could finally move. However, they didn't know who Wu Shang's last sentence was. Was it the Tai Sword God Palace Master or Wu Shang himself? Yes, my lord. Great-grandfather Jiang didn't dare to disobey this person's order. He hurriedly replied respectfully. However, they knew that Wu Shang had been here from the beginning. He was so skilled that even Feng Shixia and Situ Outyin didn't notice him. Chapter 655. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Riot Astral Ocean. Hearing this, the people from Beast King Palace and Warlord Palace gathered together. Yi Xian, are you alright? Song Suijing asked worriedly. I'm fine. Yi Xian shook his head. He had blocked the raging flames with the 8 Desolation Shield. Outside the 8 Desolation Shield, there were 16 layers of Earth Pulse, so he was not injured. Alright, Jiang Tianjin, follow me. The rest of you can disperse too. Yes. The group of people responded. Before Jiang Tianjin left, he glared at Yi Xian before leaving with Wu Shang. His eyes seemed to be saying, I'll spare your life for now. One day you'll die in my hands. At the same time, Yi Xian thought to himself, Jiang Tianjin, it seems that our final battle has yet to come. The next time we meet, I'll definitely take my revenge. Forget about Tool King Palace, let's go too. Situ Outyin rushed over and left with a group of people. The Jiang family could only watch them leave, but they could not vent the anger in their hearts. I never thought that Tai Palace Master would come out to mediate. After leaving Tool King Palace, Situ Outyin could not help but say. Tai Palace Master was the most authoritative palace master in Sword God Palace. Even the other palace masters dared not disobey his words. Now that Yi Xian has been exposed, the Jiang family will probably make a move next. Lan Yao glanced at Yi Xian. That's right. The Jiang family almost killed Yi Xian and Yi Chong 20 years ago. Now that Yi Xian is here, they will definitely not leave him alone. I'm afraid that Yi Xian can't stay in the eastern continent anymore, unless he stays in Warlord Palace. Shin Tulai nodded. It was impossible for Yi Xian to stay in Warlord Palace for a long time. He did not rely on ordinary cultivation, but on devouring to increase his strength. It was better to kill him than to let him stay in Warlord Palace. Since he couldn't stay in the eastern continent, where could he go? Hiding like this isn't a solution. Right now Yi Xian isn't weak. Why don't we send him to the chaotic astral ocean? We need more people there. Battle King Hall's Grand Elder Shi Yonghao suddenly said. That's a good idea. What do you think, Yi Xian? Lan Yao nodded and looked at Yi Xian. Chaotic astral ocean. This was not the first time Yi Xian had heard of this place. Senior, I don't know much about the chaotic astral ocean. Is there anything I can help you with? Yi Xian asked curiously. Our eastern continent was originally very big, but the demon race of the Great Wilderness suddenly attacked and surrounded the eastern continent. In the Great Wilderness, we don't have the strength to open a passageway, so we can only start from the sea. Lan Yao explained, therefore we 3 king palaces all have our own forces in the chaotic astral ocean. We want to open a sea route to cross the great wasteland and connect with the outside world. After hearing this, Yi Xian also understood. There were actually some Void God Realm kings in Battle King Hall, but they were all sent to the chaotic astral ocean. Grand Elder Shi Yonghao just happened to come back from the chaotic astral ocean. Yi Xian pondered. Now that his identity had been exposed, if he stayed in the eastern continent, he didn't know when he would fall into the hands of the Jiang family. It was better to go to the chaotic astral ocean to improve his strength. By the time he returned, the Jiang family's threat wouldn't be that big. Alright, I'll go. Yi Xian nodded. We'll go too. Song Suijing hurriedly said. Battle King Hall's young master Lan Yu glanced at Judge Song and Song Suijing and said, I'll go too. My thunder attribute physique might improve faster there. Alright, then the 4 of you go to the chaotic astral ocean. We'll deal with the eastern continent first. Lan Yao nodded. Although they had decided to go to the chaotic astral ocean, Yi Xian and the others still planned to return to Battle King Hall and rest for a few days. After all, Yi Xian and Song Suijing hadn't seen each other for more than a year, and there were many things to talk about. Alright, you guys be careful. I'll bring your news to Yi Chong. Situ Outyin said to Yi Xian. Many thanks, senior. Yi Xian hurriedly cupped his fists. In fact, he could condense a sword god bloodline seed and let Situ Outyin bring it to Yi Chong. However, this thing was too precious, so Yi Xian decided to forget about it. He would think about it when he met Yi Chong in the future. Soon, the Battle King Hall's group separated from the Beast King Hall's group. Yi Xian and the others also returned to Battle King Hall. After not seeing each other for more than a year, Yi Xian and Song Suijing had endless things to talk about. The two took turns to talk about what had happened to them, and they talked until late at night. Only then did Yi Xian hug Song Suijing and fall asleep. In this more than a year, Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song didn't have many things to do. After they met Lan Yu in Luosha region, they were directly brought back to Battle King Hall and were secretly trained. Originally, they were the trump cards to contend against Jiang Tianjin in the future, but now they were exposed. Moreover, when it came to trump cards, they were still too far behind Yi Xian. If Yi Xian had the Bahuang sword, he might have the strength to contend against Jiang Tianjin. However, now that Jiang Tianjin had been accepted into Sword God Palace, his strength would increase by leaps and bounds. Therefore, Yi Xian couldn't fall behind. Otherwise, how could he take revenge? The next day, Yi Xian got up and prepared to go to Chaotic Astral Ocean. After listening to him, Lan Yu also felt a huge pressure. Originally, she was the #1 genius of Battle King Hall, but now Yi Xian appeared. Not only was his attribute high, but his realm was also higher than hers. Most importantly, he was so hard-working. Immediately, Lan Yu directly agreed. Then the four of them directly left. Before entering Chaotic Astral Ocean, I have to tell you something. On the way to Chaotic Astral Ocean, Lan Yu suddenly opened her mouth. Yi Xian and the other two looked at each other and listened in silence. Chaotic Astral Ocean is a very dangerous place. Once you enter, you must be extremely careful when flying. Chaotic Astral Ocean not only needs to guard against the void god beasts in the sea, but also the chaotic astral thunder in the sky. Lan Yu said. Sister Lan, what is chaotic astral thunder? Song Suijing couldn't help but ask. Lan Yu replied, there is no day in chaotic astral ocean, only endless night. Even if there are no thunderclouds, there will be occasional chaotic astral thunder in the sky. There are strong and weak chaotic astral thunders. The weak ones can be resisted by Void God Realm experts. As for the strong ones, I heard that they can even kill Void God Realm experts. So strong? Yi Xian was shocked. Yes. Lan Yu nodded. At the same time, after entering chaotic astral ocean, remember not to fly more than 100 meters above the sea. Once it exceeds 100 meters, there will be a chance of chaotic astral thunder in the sky. Therefore, most people fly at a low altitude. 100 meters, isn't that too dangerous? Yi Xian frowned. The sea was unfathomable and there were countless powerful void god beasts. There might even be void god beasts comparable to void god realm great emperors. 100 meters was nothing. Because of this, most people travel by boat, so there are many pirate groups in chaotic astral ocean. Chapter 656. Ambush. Lan Yu paused for a moment before continuing. The chaotic astral ocean is divided into 3 regions. These 3 regions are the territories of the 3 pirate emperors. Our 3 king palaces are all in Mad Revered's territory. Mad Revered, Empress, and Battle Emperor are extremely powerful. Are these 3 Nihility God Realm emperors? Yi Xian couldn't help but ask. I'm not very sure. Moreover, these 3 are pirates with countless experts under their command. However, there are rumors that they are already level 9 kings. Lan Yu said solemnly. Moreover, these 3 people hate outsiders very much. In other words, people from the mainland like us. That's why we, the Warlord Palace, disguised as pirates. So, we are going to be pirates? Judge Song suddenly frowned. Yes, I previously went to the chaotic astral ocean to form a pirate group, but because I returned to the mainland, I merged with the Shantian pirates. Lan Yu nodded. Judge Song said helplessly, we are really going to be pirates. Although it doesn't feel like much, robbing isn't my style. We are only in disguise. We won't rob caravans. Generally, we will fight with other pirate groups. Lan Yu shook her head. Only by fighting can we obtain more wealth, manpower, and ships to strengthen ourselves. Hearing this, Judge Song slowly nodded. These pirates were originally cruel people. Killing them was a matter of course. In addition, Judge, although you have recovered from your serious injury, it hasn't been cured. If it isn't cured, I'm afraid your cultivation won't be able to progress. Lan Yu suddenly turned her attention to Judge Song. At this time, Yi Xian remembered that Judge Song still had some injuries and immediately asked, how can it be cured? The Jiang family didn't cure him. If we can find a wood attribute king, perhaps he will be able to recover. Or find a flame wood root. Lan Yu replied. Withered wood rejuvenation or flame wood root. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes as he secretly remembered it. He had heard of the flamewood root before. It was a kind of thing that leaned towards both fire and wood, but he didn't know where to find it. The palace master's whereabouts are uncertain, but now that this has happened, we can't go to the Sword God Palace to find the palace master. However, if the palace master comes back, he should come to the chaotic astral ocean, Lan Yu continued. The Battle King Hall's hall master, Duanmu Yun, had a wood attribute void spirit. Moreover, he had also comprehended withered wood rejuvenation. If he returned to the Battle King Hall, Lan Yao would tell him about this matter. However, during this period of time, Adjudicator Song would be stuck as a rank 1 king. After that, Lan Yu told Yi Xian and the other two a few more things. In short, their next mission in the chaotic astral sea was to expand their pirate group. Only by becoming stronger would they be able to leave the chaotic astral sea and open up a path. The chaotic astral ocean was right next to the eastern continent. However, Yi Xian and the other two also made a trip back to the heavenly water continent to report that they were safe and sound, as well as confirm the heavenly water continent situation. After that, he arrived at the border between the eastern continent and the chaotic astral ocean. Past that lighthouse is the chaotic astral ocean. Let's fly in at a low altitude. On the sea outside the eastern continent, Blue Moon pointed at a lighthouse in front of them and said, "Okay." Yi Xian and the other two nodded silently. However, just as they were about to cross the lighthouse, a figure suddenly appeared on top of the lighthouse. "You guys really made me wait for a long time." A middle-aged man suddenly blocked the path of Yi Xian and the other two. Yi Xian and the other two didn't recognize this person, but Blue Moon did. After seeing the middle-aged man's face clearly, Blue Moon's expression sank to the bottom of the valley. She said, "Jiang Wentao?" The middle-aged man in front of them was a member of the Jiang family's generation. He was an expert second only to the Jiang family's patriarch. The Jiang family's patriarch had 3 children. The eldest son was Jiang Wenyue, the second son was Jiang Wenjing, and the third daughter was Jiang Xinyan. This Jiang Wentao was Jiang Wenyue's cousin. That day at the Tool King Hall, he didn't appear because he was in the chaotic astral ocean. However, Yi Xian and the other two were still one step behind. "Little girl, I didn't expect you to recognize me." Jiang Wentao grinned. "What do you want to do?" Master Wu Shang said. Blue Moon hurriedly mentioned Wu Shang. However, before she could finish, Jiang Wentao interrupted her. "Don't use Master Wu Shang as an excuse. I only have one purpose for coming here today. That kid will come with me. The 3 of you can do whatever you want." "Impossible." Blue Moon immediately replied. "Little girl, although the 4 of you are top-notch geniuses, you are still too young. If you have 10 years you might be able to surpass me. However, judging from your current situation, you don't have the ability to stop me." As Jiang Wentao spoke, he turned his attention to Yi Xian and said, "Don't worry, this kid won't die. After all, he is Yi Chong's child. If he dies and Yi Chong goes crazy, the Tool King Hall won't be able to handle it." Yi Chong was already a peak king of the Empty God realm. If he knew that Yi Xian was dead, he would definitely slaughter the Tool King Hall. Although the Tool King Hall was backed by the 9th Heaven Sword God Jiang Wenyue couldn't guard the Tool King Hall all the time. "I will go to the Tool King Hall again, but not now," Yi Xian said coldly. TSK, this is not up to you." Jiang Wentao's gaze fell on Yi Xian's Bahuang sword. He didn't covet the Bahuang sword or the Bahuang sword technique. He was coveting something else. Something that very few people knew about. "If that's the case, let me see what you're capable of." Yi Xian squinted his eyes and said softly, "I will be the main attacker. The 3 of you will hold him back." "All right." Song Suijing and the other two nodded. In the current team, Yi Xian had the highest cultivation level and was the most powerful. Although the 3 of them weren't at a high cultivation level, it shouldn't be a problem for them to deal with a level 4 king together. With the addition of Yi Xian, they might be able to fight a level 5 king. After all, the 4 of them had rare attributes. Both parties looked at each other in silence for a few seconds. Then Yi Xian took the initiative to attack. "Bahuang Spirit, go." The Bahuang sword shattered instantly and formed a brownish-yellow genuine Qi giant that charged towards Jiang Wentao. Bahuang Spirit? If the Bahuang sword god was controlling it, the Bahuang Spirit would be stronger than an ordinary empty god realm emperor. It's a pity that you're only a level 3 king. Jiang Wentao sighed and finally made his move. He had the fire attribute Empty God Spirit and had comprehended the inextinguishable flames and rebirth from fire. Although his attack power was strong, the 4 of them were the treasures of the Warlord Hall. If one of them died, the 2 Warlord Halls would definitely start a war. Therefore he had to be careful. Swoosh. Territories were activated one by one. Lightning territory, ice territory, flame territory, fire territory, earth territory, wind territory. Chapter 657. Unbeatable. In the next moment, the 8 Desolation Spirit was already in front of Jiang Wentao. Whoosh whoosh. The 8 Desolation Spirit punched out, aiming for Jiang Wentao's head. Humph. Jiang Wentao snorted coldly. In the next moment, an inextinguishable flame ignited beneath the 8 Desolation Spirit's feet. In an instant, the 8 Desolation Spirit was burnt to a crisp. Although the 8 Desolation Spirit was formed by 8 sharp blades, the majority of its body was formed by Yixian's Zhenqi. Earth Zhenqi was already countered by fire Zhenqi, let alone the inextinguishable flame. However, the 8 Desolation Spirit was just a cover. Yixian's real killing move was the 8 Desolation Wind Formation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When the Octotera Titan Spirit was annihilated, the 8 blades began to spin at high speeds. The 8 blades, which contained the power of the 16 layers of the throbbing pulse of the world, attacked Jiang Wentao. However, Jiang Wentao was able to easily deflect them. 16 layers of earth pulse is indeed powerful. If I wasn't a grade 5 king, it would really be troublesome. Jiang Wentao muttered. At this moment, cracking sounds were suddenly heard around him. In the next moment, walls were formed around him. Ice profound, ice crystal cage. The ice attribute was naturally created by Song Suijing. Petty tricks break for me. Jiang Wentao blocked the 8 sharp blades while igniting the inextinguishable flame around him. In the next moment, holes were burned through the entire ice crystal cage. This ice crystal cage was very useful against fire kings of the same level. However, Jiang Wentao was a grade 5 king after all, and had comprehended the inextinguishable flame. Hence, it was useless against him. However, this ice crystal cage could not be underestimated. Ice crystal explosion. When Jiang Wentao ignited the inextinguishable flame, Song Suijing's eyes suddenly flashed. The entire ice crystal cage shattered, and countless ice crystals shot towards Jiang Wentao. I've long heard of this move of yours. Jiang Wentao was still defending against the attacks of the 8 sharp blades. There was already a layer of flame around his body. When the ice crystals got close to him, they were burned into ashes. ZZ. However, what Jiang Wentao did not notice was that there was already a special energy gathering above his head. As Lan Yu's eyes flashed, the energy suddenly chopped down. Thunder element profound, heavenly punishment. Lan Yu had not used this move in the previous battle. What? Jiang Wentao felt that something was wrong. He looked up and saw a lightning snake slithering down. Immediately his figure flashed. Boom. This electric snake slithered straight into the sea, immediately setting off a wave of electromagnetic waves on the surface of the sea. However, this was not the end. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the electric snakes slithered down. Jiang Wentao didn't dare to stay in the same place anymore. He hurriedly began to dodge. Although the heavenly punishment profound also required Zhenqi, Lan Yu was a level 2 dominator. She wouldn't run out of Zhenqi so easily. The reason why Jiang Wentao dodged was because he felt threatened. The thunder element had the attack power of the fire element and the speed of the wind element. It was a very powerful attribute. Song Suijing and the other two's purpose was to restrain Jiang Wentao and let Yixian assist them. Originally, Song Suijing also knew the binding of water profound, but Jiang Wentao's realm was too high. Moreover, he had the inextinguishable raging flames, so she couldn't restrain him. Now she could only use heavenly punishment to restrain him. Whoosh. Adjudicator Song, who had not made a move, finally made a move. At this time, a flame dragon swept toward Jiang Wentao. Humph. Jiang Wentao resisted the 8 sharp blades while dodging the heavenly punishment lightning. Taking advantage of the gap, he threw a punch at the flame dragon. Boom. The flame dragon was easily defeated by this punch. The fire element was the upgraded version of the fire element. Its power was stronger than the fire element, but due to the suppression of the realm, the flame dragon couldn't do anything. However, there was another killing move in the flame dragon's body. Ha! At the same time when the flame dragon was annihilated, a 2-meter-tall flame clone rushed out. This was Adjudicator Song's flame clone. Ha, old man, have a taste of this move. Adjudicator Song looked up to the sky and laughed. Boom. The flame avatar instantly exploded. How could Jiang Wentao, who had the fire element, not know about this move? This was raging flames incinerate the heavens. Moreover, it was the raging flames incinerate the heavens. Damn it, I was tricked. Jiang Wentao hurriedly used his true chi to resist. Although this raging flames incinerate the heavens was powerful enough to kill a 3rd-grade king, Jiang Wentao was a 5th grade king. Moreover, he had the fire element, so he had some resistance against it. Adjudicator Song's raging flames incinerate the heavens didn't injure him and was blocked. However, this was also a form of restraint. Swish. At the same time, a brown sword chi shot towards Jiang Wentao. Yi Xian had been waiting for an opportunity since the beginning. The explosion of the raging flames incinerate the heavens was a very good opportunity, so he didn't hesitate to make his move. Lifting heavy as light and great earth-throbbing technique combined with his bloodline allowed Yi Xian's attack to be extremely fast. It was enough to threaten a 5th grade king. Not good. Jiang Wentao's expression changed once again. The attack power of this slash was almost on par with his own. However, he had been tricked by Adjudicator Song a moment ago. At the same time, there was also Heavenly Punishment, 8 Desolate Wind Slaughter Array, and various other domains, giving him no time to dodge. Therefore he could only face it head-on. Boom. Jiang Wentao's weapon vibrated 16 times in an instant. His hands were numb from the vibrations, and his body was blasted back 1,000 meters. Success? Yi Xian's group of 4 widened their eyes, but in the next moment, Jiang Wentao's hearty laughter came from the front. Brats, you think you can injure me, Jiang Wentao? Jiang Wentao's figure appeared in the eyes of the 4. A 5th grade king as expected of a 5th grade king. Even with such exquisite coordination, they still couldn't do anything to him. To be honest, if I was only a 4th grade king, I'm afraid I would have been killed by you. Now that I've seen through your abilities, it's time to get serious. Jiang Wentao narrowed his eyes. The reason why he was defending just now was because he wanted to see the potential and trump cards of these people. Now he had really seen through them. He didn't know about Heavenly Punishment, Raging Flames Incinerate the Heavens and other ultimates before. Now he knew. The 4 people's expressions were gloomy. Yi Xian also withdrew his 8 Desolate Sword. If the other party really wanted to capture him, then he would have to use his ultimate move. At that time there would be casualties. If Jiang Wentao died, then the Tool King Hall and Battle King Hall would definitely start a war. Therefore Yi Xian was still hesitating. Chapter 658. Translator. Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translations. It was the Temple Master, Duanmu Yun. Alright brats, I don't have time to play with you. As Jiang Wentao spoke, his attention fell onto Yi Xian as he said, Brat, obediently follow me back to the Artifact King's Hall. Otherwise don't blame me for not holding back when I make a move. You want to catch me? Let's see what you're capable of. Yi Xian replied calmly. He had already made up his mind. If Jiang Wentao really attacked him, he would have to use the Sword of Shattering Stars. Jiang Wentao was the leader of the pirate group in the chaotic astral ocean. He must have a lot of things in his interspatial ring. If he killed him, Yi Xian might break through to become a level 4 king. At that time he would not be afraid of the Tool King Palace. However, if Jiang Wenyuan knew about it, it would be troublesome. However, it was not the time to think about it. Alright, since you don't know what's good for you, I'll capture you and bring you back to the Tool King Palace by force. After Jiang Wentao finished speaking, his aura suddenly grew stronger and pressed down on Yi Xian and the other 3. However, in the next instant, his imposing manner instantly collapsed. At the same time, a sudden pressure descended on his body, causing his heart to palpitate involuntarily. I can't move? Jiang Wentao's face was filled with shock as his entire body trembled. He hurriedly swept his gaze around and discovered that a white figure had appeared above Yi Xian's group of 4. Yi Xian and the other 3 were puzzled. Why did Jiang Wentao suddenly stop moving? At this moment they noticed Jiang Wentao's strange gaze. They looked up and saw a person standing behind them. When Yi Xian saw the person's face, he trembled violently. Wasn't this the middle-aged man who killed the flying dragon and saved Yi Xian and Song Suijing in the Tang dynasty of the Tianshui continent? Temple Master. Suddenly Lan Yu shouted. What? Yi Xian was stunned again. Temple Master? This middle-aged man was actually the Battle Emperor Hall's Hall Master, Duanmu Yun? Only then did Yi Xian realize that when the middle-aged man killed the wyvern, didn't the wyvern turn into a pile of mud? Wasn't that the wood attribute True Qi? Moreover, at that time, Song Suijing had guessed that this middle-aged man knew Yi Xian's father, but she never expected that he was actually the Hall Master of Warlord Hall. Damn, a Void God Realm Monarch Realm expert needs to use his sword to deal with a flying dragon? Yi Xian could not help but admire Duanmu Yun's posturing in the Great Tang dynasty was simply too impressive. An expert like Duanmu Yun did not even need to make a move. Just a look from him could kill a virtual god, let alone an injured flying dragon. Originally, Yi Xian thought that this middle-aged man was just a friend that Yi Chong had met during his training. After all, Yi Chong was very talented and not everyone could keep up with him. However, Yi Xian did not associate this middle-aged man with the Battle Emperor Hall Master. After hearing Lan Yu's words, Jiang Wentao's eyes widened and he exclaimed, "Hall Master Duanmu Yun?" He was shocked by Duanmu Yun's aura and his mind was in a daze. His vision was not very bright, so he did not recognize him immediately. "Jiang Wentao, how dare you?" Duanmu Yun slowly descended from the sky. "This?" Jiang Wentao looked at Duanmu Yun in horror. He was terrified because Duanmu Yun was a level 9 Void God Realm monarch. He was not someone that he could deal with. "I've heard about what happened before. Your Tool King Palace dares to threaten my Battle King Palace? Who gave you the guts to do that? Jiang Wenyue?" Duanmu Yun looked at Jiang Wentao. Jiang Wenyue was one of the palace masters of Sword God Palace, but Duanmu Yun was also one of the palace masters. Duanmu Yun was not afraid of Jiang Wenyue since they had the same status. "Do you think your weapon Emperor Hall is powerful just because Jiang Wenyue has become a great emperor? Coincidentally, I also made a breakthrough a while ago." Duanmu Yun suddenly revealed a secret. "What?" When they heard the second half of the sentence, Jiang Wentao, Yi Xian, and the other two trembled. Duanmu Yun, who was originally a peak Void God Realm monarch, had made a breakthrough? Did that mean that Duanmu Yun was now a Void God Realm Great Emperor? No wonder I can't move. He has already broken through to the Void God Realm Great Emperor. Jiang Wentao suddenly understood. Although a level 9 monarch was stronger than a level 5 monarch, it was impossible for him to be unable to move. Therefore it must be because of the Great Emperor's will. Duanmu Yun snorted and suddenly turned to look at Yi Xian and the other three. "Palace Master." Lan Yu quickly bowed. Yi Xian and the other two followed suit. "Forget it. I'm not such an old-fashioned person." Duanmu Yun grinned and looked at Yi Xian and Song Suijing. He said, "Why? Are the two of you surprised?" Yi Xian and Song Suijing looked at each other and said in unison, "Yes. Haha, I took advantage of my free time to take a look at Tianshui continent. I happened to see you in trouble and saved you. Do you still remember?" Duanmu Yun said with a smile. "Yes." Yi Xian nodded. He had always remembered this matter. However, he could not find Duanmu Yun to return the favor. Lan Yu was very surprised. She did not expect Yi Xian and Song Suijing to have met Duanmu Yun before. Moreover, it was in Yi Xian's hometown. "You owed me a favor before. Well, now that you are part of Warlord Hall, I'll forget about it. However, that favor must be returned." Duanmu Yun looked at Yi Xian. "I dare not forget Senior's kindness." Yi Xian said hastily. "I think you already know that your father has entered the Sword God Pagoda thousands of times over the years. This time he came down with serious injuries. I was the one who healed his injuries. Otherwise he would not have been able to hold on." Duanmu Yun paused for a moment before continuing, "You owe me a favor, so I'll bring it up now. What I want you to do is very simple. That is to charge up the Sword God Pagoda on behalf of your father." As expected. After hearing Duanmu Yun's words, Yi Xian's heart trembled. In fact, he had already guessed it. "Okay." Yi Xian agreed without thinking. However, there were some things he did not understand. "I think you have a lot of doubts in your heart. I have broken through to the Empty God Realm Great Emperor Realm. I should be qualified to accept your father as a disciple and let him enter the Sword God Palace to reunite with your mother. However, your father refused." Duanmu Yun sighed. Song Suijing could not help but ask. "He refused? What?" "Yi Chong has obtained the inheritance of Sword God Ba Huang. Moreover, he has great aptitude. He should be able to break through to the Empty God Realm Great Emperor Realm. However, he has been trying to break through the Sword God Pagoda all these years and has always failed. He has long had an inner demon. In addition, he has been injured countless times. Although I have healed him, I can't cure him completely. In the end, he has left behind an illness." Chapter 659. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin, what a difficult task. That's why he wants you to complete it. Yi Xian fell silent after hearing Duanmu Yun's words. Yi Chong had charged into the Sword God Pagoda and was severely injured countless times. Even with Duanmu Yun's help, he would eventually fall ill. Does he not have a chance to break through? Yi Xian asked. It would be too sad for such a talented genius to be stuck in the rank 9 king realm for the rest of his life. There is, but not much unless he can get rid of his inner demon. That will depend on you. Duanmu Yun nodded. In order to get rid of his inner demon, he had to reunite Yi Chong and Jiang Xinyan. Moreover, he couldn't use Duanmu Yun's method. As the child of Yi Chong and Jiang Xinyan, Yi Xian could fulfill Yi Chong's wish. I understand. Yi Xian nodded. You must be adjudicator Song, right? You were injured by the experts of the demon race, but the people of the Tool King Hall didn't treat you, leaving behind an illness that caused your cultivation to stagnate. Duanmu Yun waved her hand and a green energy entered Adjudicator Song's body. In the next moment, Adjudicator Song's physique changed. Adjudicator Song's eyes widened. A Void God Realm Great Emperor was indeed a Void God Realm Great Emperor. His hidden illness was healed in an instant. Your injury is still considered small. Yichong is the terrifying one. Even when I broke through to the Void God Realm Great Emperor, I couldn't completely heal him. However, after he heard about Yi Xian, he stopped attacking the Sword God Pagoda and chose to rest quietly. Duanmu Yun said slowly. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and asked, "Father is injured again?" Yes, Jiang Wenyue is ruthless. He beat him to the brink of death every time. Jiang Wenyue is already a Void God Realm Great Emperor. Before Jiang Wenyue broke through, Yi Xian might still have a chance. But now it's impossible. Duanmu Yun shook her head. Since that's the case, let me do it. Yi Xian thought for a moment. Then his heart moved. He was extremely grateful to Duanmu Yun. She had saved him once and had saved his father countless times. Therefore he wanted to repay Duanmu Yun. Senior, this is a bloodline seed that I obtained by chance during my training. Yi Xian exchanged for a Sword God bloodline seed and tossed it to Duanmu Yun. Oh. Duanmu Yun caught it with interest. He was naturally no stranger to the bloodline seed. Many experts would condense one when they were nearing the end of their lifespan and pass down their ultimate techniques. However, when Duanmu Yun caught the bloodline seed, her heart trembled violently. He could sense that this bloodline seed was no ordinary object. Yi Xian, this is? Duanmu Yun asked with a frown. Senior, this is a Sword God's bloodline seed. If Senior refines it, it can increase the power of your sword skills and comprehension by 50%. By the time Yi Xian finished speaking, Duanmu Yun's jaw dropped in shock. Increase the power of the sword skill by 50%? Was he that strong? At this moment, Duanmu Yun's brows suddenly twitched. The next moment, he and Yi Xian were wrapped up by some vines that appeared out of thin air. Yi Xian, is what you said true? Duanmu Yun asked in surprise. There are actually two Sword God's bloodline seeds. I've already refined one, and the one in Senior's hand is the second one. Yi Xian can only repay Senior's kindness to us father and son with this bloodline seed, Yi Xian replied. To be honest, Duanmu Yun was already attracted by this bloodline seed. This bloodline seed could greatly increase his strength. Alright, then I'll accept it. Duanmu Yun did not argue and swallowed it on the spot. Not long after, his eyes widened. For an expert of his level, he could feel the changes even if he did not verify it. Great, this is great. Duanmu Yun suddenly laughed out loud. Originally, Yi Xian wanted to keep this bloodline seed for Yi Chong. However, Yi Chong had a heart demon now and there were many hidden injuries in his body. There was no hope for him to break through. Even with this Sword God's bloodline seed, it was impossible for him to defeat Jiang Wenyue who had broken through to the Void God realm. Therefore Yi Xian wanted to use it to repay the favor. Young man, I didn't expect you to have this much. Don't worry, I have a gift for you too. Duanmu Yun smiled as he took out a strange item. It was a ball of white flame, but it danced in Duanmu Yun's hand. Yi Xian focused his eyes and realized that there was a small sword in the ball of white flame. Senior, this is... Yi Xian did not know what it was and asked hurriedly. This is the most precious treasure left behind by Sword God Bahuang. If your father can successfully refine it, defeating Jiang Wenyue should not be a problem. It's a pity that your father can't refine it. Duanmu Yun threw the white flame to Yi Xian and said, This is called Sword Essence. Your father asked me to bring it to you. If you can refine it, your strength will increase greatly. Not to mention surpassing me, you might even be able to catch up with the strongest person in Sword God Palace, Sword God Tai. Sword Essence? Yi Xian caught the white flame and instinctively performed a special devour. Ding. The host does not have enough devour crystals. He could perform a special devour, but he did not have enough devour crystals. Is this a gift from my father? Yi Xian kept it in the devour space and said, Thank you, senior. Don't thank me. I'm just bringing it to you. Don't let anyone else know about this. No one. If you have sword essence now, I won't be able to withstand one blow from you. As Duanmu Yun spoke, the surrounding vine boundary was instantly annihilated. The two of them appeared in front of everyone again. Song Suijing and the others could not hear the conversation between Yi Xian and Duanmu Yun, so the sword essence was a secret. Yi Xian was shocked. What kind of heaven-defying thing was this sword essence? If he, a third-grade challenger, had sword essence, he could actually kill Duanmu Yun, a void god great emperor? Wasn't this thing a little too powerful? Alright, you guys go in. I'll bring Jiang Wentao to Weapon King Hall to seek justice. Duanmu Yun waved her hand. Yes. Yi Xian and the others nodded and immediately rushed out. When they passed by Jiang Wentao, they snorted coldly. Jiang Wentao was stunned by Duanmu Yun and could not move. He could only watch as Yi Xian passed by him and entered the chaotic astral ocean. After bidding farewell to Duanmu Yun, Yi Xian and the others also entered the chaotic astral ocean. The chaotic astral ocean was a strange place. There was no sun and there was a starry sky 24 hours a day. Below was the ocean, so it was a little gloomy. I didn't expect the palace master to come so soon. Otherwise, the consequences would be very serious. After entering the chaotic astral ocean, Lan Yu could not help but say. Indeed, if Duanmu Yun had not appeared in time, Yi Xian would have been captured. Of course, there was another possibility that Jiang Wentao would be killed by Yi Xian. Chapter 660. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin entering the chaotic astral ocean. Sister Lan, where are we going now? Song Suijing couldn't help but ask. We're going to Shuntian Island. This is a small island occupied by my Shuntian pirate group. Lan Yu said indifferently, this chaotic astral ocean is much stronger than our eastern continent. There are also many pirate groups that are stronger than our three great kings. Our Shuntian pirate group can only be considered as a level 4 pirate group. Level 4 pirate group? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. Warlord Hall was actually only a level 4 pirate group. This didn't sound very high. In the chaotic astral ocean, a level 4 pirate group means that there is a level 4 king. A level 5 pirate group means that there is a level 5 king. As for those without a level 5 pirate group, they are simply not qualified. As for Kuang Zun, Empress and Battle Emperor, they are all level 9 pirate groups. Lan Yu explained. Didn't the Great Elder just come back from the chaotic astral ocean? Song Suijing asked in astonishment. Warlord Hall's Great Elder Shi Yonghao was an expert on the same level as Vice Hall Master Lan Yao. They were both level 5 kings. In that case, the Shuntian pirate group should be a level 5 pirate group. Yes, but the Great Elder is only in charge and won't appear. This is our trump card that cannot be known by outsiders. Lan Yu continued to explain. Yi Xian and the other two immediately understood. The Shuntian pirate group was a level 4 pirate group. If a level 5 pirate group attacked, the Great Elder would appear. If the Great Elder was directly exposed, he would likely attract the attention of a level 6 pirate group. Thus he must remain hidden. In addition, there is a rule in the chaotic astral ocean. A level 3 pirate group can only occupy one island, a level 4 pirate group can occupy 2 islands, and a level 8 pirate group can occupy 6 islands. Currently, the chaotic astral ocean is divided into 3 parts. Almost all the islands have an owner. Without permission, no one is allowed to attack other islands. Thus, the ocean is very chaotic while the islands are very peaceful. Lan Yu continued to explain to the three. Yi Xian asked, we need approval to attack the island. Who is it? Our Shuntian pirates are level 4 pirates. Only level 1, 2, 4 and 4 pirates can attack our island. If we want to attack other islands, we have to apply to the level 9 pirates. They have a station in this area. Blue Moon replied. In the chaotic astral ocean, there were only 3 9th level pirate groups, namely Kuang Zun, Empress and Zhan Huang. A level 8 pirate group can only control 6 islands, but a level 9 pirate group has no restrictions. This is hegemony. Young master, are we going to lead the Shuntian pirates directly or form a new one? Judge Song couldn't help but ask. Hearing this, Lan Yu paused and replied, now the chaotic astral ocean is not very peaceful. The Shuntian pirates have risen with great difficulty. We need to hide for a period of time. Let's form a new one. What's his name? Song Suijing asked. Let's call it Ice Fire. The name doesn't matter. Lan Yu casually said. Ice Fire Pirates. Yi Xian and the other two didn't have any opinion. The name is just a code name. Although the name had been decided, there were only 4 of them. They had to report to Shuntian Island first, and then directly rob a pirate group. It would save them time and effort. Lan Yu has been to Shuntian Island before, so she knows the way. She and Yi Xian both know how to speed up, so it only takes them about 5 days to arrive. Hey, there's an island over there. After 2 days of rushing, Song Suijing suddenly saw a black shadow and pointed out. Lan Yu nodded slightly. Yes, it's called Sky Cloud Island. It's controlled by a level 3 pirate group. Right after Lan Yu's words left her mouth, several rays of light suddenly blossomed from the Sky Cloud Island. Someone is fighting. Moreover, the movement is not small. Rumble. The sound floated over and fell into the ears of the four. What's going on? Are they attacking the island? Lan Yu was surprised. Let's go and see. Yi Xian's eyes flashed. This is the first time he has seen an island attack. Of course, this is just out of curiosity. His purpose is to see if there is any profit to be made. After all, this time he came to the chaotic astral ocean to upgrade and break through. Immediately, the four of them rushed towards Sky Cloud Island. Rumble. The sound was getting louder and louder. When Yi Xian and the other three approached, they found three figures fighting with an entire pirate group. This doesn't look like an island attack, Lan Yu suddenly said. Yi Xian and the other two were stunned. If it's not an island attack, then there is a conflict on the island itself? At this time, a strong man suddenly shouted, "The four of you, please help, they are raiders." Obviously, he said to Yi Xian and the other three. What are raiders? Yi Xian asked strangely. Lan Yu suddenly realized and explained, there are countless pirates in the chaotic astral ocean, but there are some who don't form a pirate group and act alone. These people are called raiders. They attack fleets and islands with the purpose of killing and plundering, but they are not allowed to occupy an island. If they are seen by the law enforcers, they will be killed, so they generally leave after plundering an island. Then should we help? Judge Song asked. Lan Yu shook her head and said, no, the strong are respected, this is obvious. If the raiders succeed in destroying this pirate group, then this island will become an island without an owner, and there will be another pirate group to occupy it. That's right, we'll just watch them fight and reap the benefits. Judge Song chuckled as a large axe appeared in his hand. In front, most of the people were just bystanders, and there were only 10 people who were really fighting. 7 of them were from the third-level pirate group, and the other 3 were from the raiders. A third-level king, 3 second-level kings, 3 first-level kings. Yi Xian was evaluating the strength of the 10 people. As for the 3 raiders, there were 2 third-level kings and 1 second-level king. Although they didn't have the advantage in numbers, they were still stronger than the other 7. As for the virtual God Realm pirates, they were watching from the outside. This level of battle, they couldn't intervene. Boom. Suddenly, a loud sound was heard and a corpse fell from the sky. The situation instantly turned to the raiders' side. When one person dies, a second person dies. Soon, the leaders of the third-level pirate group were defeated. Soon, all 7 kings were killed. Second brother, third brother, there are 4 kings over there, you two go deal with them, I will deal with these people. A middle-aged man said to the other 2. Chapter 661. True strength, all right. The other 2 raiders nodded and quickly rushed towards Yi Xian's group of 4. As for the middle-aged man, he activated his domain and killed the pirates. A third-grade king and a second-grade king have come. Yi Xian, why don't we deal with them? Judge Song turned to Yi Xian and said. All right. Yi Xian didn't have any objections. His strength was enough to kill these 3 raiders, so there was no need for him to make a move. It was better to give Judge Song and the other 2 a chance to gain experience. In the next moment, Judge Song's group quickly rushed out. The 3 of them found their opponents at the same time. Lan Yu dealt with the second-grade king while Song Suijing and Judge Song dealt with the third-grade king. Humph, newborn calves aren't afraid of tigers, courting death. The third-grade king coldly snorted and directly attacked the 2 siblings. Song Suijing and Judge Song were both first-grade kings, but if the 2 of them joined hands, dealing with a third-grade king wasn't a problem. Lan Yu also had a rare lightning attribute and had comprehended lightning acceleration and heavenly punishment. Dealing with a third-grade king was just too easy. Yi Xian stood to the side and watched the battle between the 5 of them. In the chaotic astral ocean, the water attribute was the most abundant, followed by the wind and lightning attributes. Not only that, the fire attribute kings were slightly weaker here. Song Suijing had the ice attribute, which was superior to the water attribute. Her strength increased here, and the speed of ice crystals condensed was much faster than in the mainland. Gotcha. An ice crystal cage was formed, trapping the rank 3 king. What ice attribute? The third-grade king was shocked. The water attribute was very popular in the chaotic astral ocean, but now an ice attribute king had appeared, which was simply heaven-defying. Boom. The third-grade king sent a flame slash at the ice wall in front of him, but it failed to break the ice crystal cage. Ice crystal explosion. At this time, Song Suijing's eyes suddenly flashed, and in the next moment, the ice crystal cage instantly exploded. Countless ice crystals flew and pierced the third-grade king's body. The third-grade king roared in pain. Huff huff. The flame dragon controlled by Judge Song also attacked. He endured the pain and sent out a punch, destroying the flame dragon. However, Adjudicator Song's blazing dragon was just a cover. Suddenly, a slash swept out and struck the third-rank king. In the next moment, Judge Song's flame avatar exploded. Raging flames incinerate the heavens. Boom. The level 3 king was instantly killed. Not only did Judge Song possess the flame attribute, but he had also comprehended the inextinguishable inferno, flame clone, raging flames incinerate the heavens and rising from the ashes. If their realms were the same, Adjudicator Song's strength would definitely be much stronger than Jiang Tianjin's. Supreme Judge and Supreme Judge are so strong. They managed to kill an enemy 2 levels higher than them by working together. Yi Xian thought to himself as his gaze landed on the level 3 king whose arm was burnt. Nowadays almost all the interspatial rings were made of white jade essence. This white jade essence was one of the materials used to forge virtual god weapons. Therefore the interspatial ring was not easily damaged. After the death of the enemy, Saijue Song quickly rushed over and collected the interspatial ring. At the same time, Lan Yu also finished her battle. Her opponent was struck by sky punishment and instantly died. In the distance, the middle-aged man who was still killing the virtual god realm pirates heard the commotion. He glanced around and found that 2 of his brothers had been killed. Bastard! The middle-aged man cursed and immediately turned around to leave. That level 3 king's strength was comparable to his, but he died in the hands of Yi Xian's group. If he went over, wouldn't he also die? Want to leave? Yi Xian's eyes flashed as he immediately used wind acceleration and caught up with the middle-aged man in the blink of an eye. So fast. The middle-aged man was shocked. Ice attribute, fire attribute, thunder attribute, wind attribute, these were all rare attributes. Originally they were 1 in a million, but now they were all gathered together. What was going on? But now was not the time to care about this. Heaven-shattering slash. Yi Xian casually slashed out a slash. With the second layer of profound meaning, Yi Xian's attack speed was extremely fast. By the time the middle-aged raider reacted, the attack was already in front of him, splitting him in half. Following that, Yi Xian quickly rushed over and took away his universe ring, as well as the spoils of war that he'd obtained. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Yi Xian liked this kind of situation the most. 3 raiders slaughtered a level 3 pirate group, but in the end, it was him who took advantage of it. Yi Xian, take it. At this time, Judge Song and the other 2 rushed over and threw a bag of interspatial rings over. Long before entering the chaotic astral ocean, the 3 of them had already discussed the distribution method. The lightning attribute would be given to Lan Yu, the ice attribute would be given to Song Suijing, and the fire attribute would be given to Judge Song. As for the rest, all of them would be given to Yi Xian. Their rare attributes had a special characteristic, which was that the speed of refining heaven attribute treasures would greatly increase. Song Suijing and Judge Song had the yin and yang dual physique, so they could refine the items in the interspatial ring in 1 or 2 days at most. Of course, the most greedy one was Yi Xian. With a thought, he could swallow all of the items. Even the classification of the items only needed a few seconds. Done. Yi Xian poured the things he didn't need into the 3 interspatial rings and gave them to Song Suijing and the other 2. The chaotic astral ocean is really rich. We didn't get more than 1/10 of the things here. Judge Song couldn't help but say, let's refine them first. We don't need to rush to Shuntian Island. Lan Yu suggested. Okay. Yi Xian nodded. In any case, they came to the chaotic astral ocean this time to enhance their strength. Immediately, under the gaze of the surviving pirates, they flew to Sky Cloud Island. They casually stayed on a mountain on Sky Cloud Island. This time they stayed for 3 days, waiting for Song Suijing and the other 2 to refine all of the spoils of war before preparing to leave. Rare attributes are really good. Both of us are about to break through. Judge Song couldn't help but sigh. The yuan qi of this chaotic astral ocean is very suitable for me. I'm afraid I will break through to the 2nd grade dominator before Big Brother. Song Suijing also said. Lan Yu somewhat helplessly said, both of you have special physiques. I'm afraid it won't be long before you overtake me. Yi Xian, when will you break through? Me? I'm not that fast. Chapter 662. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin Mystic Moon Pirates, alright, let's continue our journey. Lan Yu didn't ask any more questions. She knew from Lan Xian that Yi Xian had many secrets. The 4 of them continued their journey. This time they didn't encounter any major problems. They were only harassed by a few ignorant sea beasts. These sea beasts were just ordinary void god beasts. They were directly frozen into ice sculptures by Song Suijing and their corpses were devoured by Yi Xian. 2 days later, the four of them arrived at Shuntian Island. Shuntian Island was occupied by the Shuntian pirates. There was a defensive formation on the island and there was only one entrance. She's the niece of the island master. There were many pirates guarding the entrance. They all recognized Lan Yu and let her in. Although Shuntian Island was only an island, it was much bigger than the Tianshui continent. It was even bigger than the Luosha region. There are various cities and towns on Shuntian Island, and the Shuntian pirates are in one of the cities at the entrance of Shuntian Island. Lan Yu brought Yi Xian and the other two over and found an elder of the Battle King Palace who was guarding Shuntian Island. The leader of the Shuntian pirates was a level 4 king called He Liang. He was an elder of the Battle King Palace. When he saw Lan Yu, he couldn't help but smile. "Last Lan Yu, I heard you went to the wasteland this time. How was your harvest?" "The wasteland's demon race is restless. They want the corpse of the great demon emperor." Lan Yu briefly explained the situation. "So you're Yi Xian. You're already a level 3 king at such a young age. It's not impossible for you to become a great demon emperor in the future." He Liang grinned and continued, "This time, do you want to follow the Shuntian pirates directly, or do you want to rebuild a new pirate group?" "Let's rebuild a new group." "Grandpa He, where's our route?" Lan Yu asked. "Sai, the progress is too slow. There have been many raiders recently. We haven't been able to go out much." He Liang shook his head helplessly. "There was a level 4 king who came last time. Fortunately, we defeated him. The eastern continent wanted to open up a new route, so they often changed islands. However, it is extremely difficult to open up a route. After all, they are only a 4th level pirate group." "Grandpa He, give me a map," Lan Yu said. "All right, but the chaotic astral ocean is not very peaceful these days, so you should be careful. We suspect that the raiders might have come from somewhere else." After He Liang finished speaking, he took out a map. This map recorded all the islands in the chaotic astral ocean, and Shuntian Island was located in the northeast corner. The chaotic astral ocean was divided into 3 parts. Guangzhou was in the upper right corner, the Empress was in the lower right corner, and Jianghu was in the left corner. Their territories were about the same size, and the number of islands was about the same as well. They came from other places. Could they be from the Empress's territory? Lan Yu asked in shock. Something like that. The Empress naturally wouldn't do such a thing. This should be a powerful pirate group from the Empress's territory in disguise. Recently, many islands were attacked and several pirate groups were destroyed. Not only did our Shuntian Island fall, but also one of the Beast King Palace's islands. He Liang nodded. A powerful pirate group disguised as raiders to enter other people's territory, this is really too unethical. However, this kind of thing was very common in the chaotic astral ocean. The pirates under Guangzhou's territory often did such things. "We will be careful." Lan Yu nodded. "Grandpa He, we will go first." Immediately, Yi Xian's group of 4 left Shuntian City. "Sister Lan, what should we do now?" After leaving, Song Suijing directly asked. Lan Yu held the map and said, "There is a 2nd-level pirate group near Shuntian Island. Let's go there directly." 2nd-level pirate group. The leader is a 2nd-level king. Even if he hides his strength, he is only a 3rd level. It won't be a problem. Song Suijing said confidently. "Then let's go." At this time, the 4 quickly rushed towards Anhu Island. Although they haven't formed a pirate group yet, they just need to sneak into Anhu Island and force the leader to give up his position. In less than a day, the 4 arrived at Anhu Island. But recently, the chaotic astral ocean has not been very peaceful, and outsiders can rarely enter the island. "My sister and I are only level 1 kings. The other party certainly won't care about us. Let's go in." Outside Anhu Island, Song Suijing said to Yi Xian. "They haven't formed a pirate group yet. If they rashly attack the island, they will be considered as raiders. If they encounter the law enforcers of the sea, then they will be miserable. Therefore they can only let Song Suijing and Song Suijing go in. After all, they are only level 1 kings." "Well, you should be careful." Yi Xian nodded. "Don't worry, my brother and I can even kill a level 3 king. Our strength has increased a lot. This is only a 2nd-level pirate group." Song Suijing said confidently. Yi Xian nodded. In a 2nd-level pirate group, the leader is only a level 2 king. Even if there is a hidden powerhouse, at most he will be a level 3 king. Moreover, the 2 of them are guarding outside. If there is an accident, they will immediately kill to support. Then Song Suijing and Song Suijing left and rushed to Anhu Island. As for the excuses, they were really innumerable. Song Suijing directly used the excuse of joining a pirate group to make the people of the group come out. When the people of the group came out, the two of them used their domain to prove that they are only level 1 kings. Soon they were invited to Anhu Island to see the leader of the group. After a while a battle broke out. Boom. Suddenly, a signal slash swept through the sky. Outside Anhu Island, Yi Xian and Lan Yu looked at each other. The matter has been resolved. The two of them quickly flew over. The array formation of this island had already opened up an entrance. How is it? Fast enough. The 3 leaders have been killed, and the remaining 2 level 1 kings have chosen to submit to us. Song Suijing said to Yi Xian with a smile. Well, this way we don't need to apply for a pirate group. We can just change the name. Yi Xian nodded. Lan Yu asked, where is the pirate leader's token? Here. Song Suijing took out a token and threw it to Lan Yu. In the chaotic astral ocean, pirates need to be certified, and only a pirate group that has been certified can attack the island. Whoever gets this token will be the head of the group. Black Moon Pirate Group, the name is not bad. Lan Yu looked at the token and murmured. Then don't change the name. Just go and apply to upgrade the pirate group and then apply to attack the island. Chapter 663. Translator. Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translations Mystic Island. Alright, if you are the captain then we can become a level 3 pirate group. At that time, we only need the 4 of us to attack the island. Blue Moon nodded. Any pirate who had reached the level of King of Nihility Realm would need to apply. Otherwise, they would not be able to participate in the island attack because there would be people supervising them. Guarding the island could be helped by experts, but attacking the island was not allowed. There is a level 3 pirate group around Anhu Island. Recently there have been a lot of raiders, so the pirates and fleets rarely sail. After we upgrade we will attack them directly. Blue Moon took out a map and pointed to an island. Alright. Yi Xian and the other 2 agreed. There was an application point near Anhu Island, so the 4 of them immediately went there. In less than 3 days they arrived at the application point and upgraded the Mystic Moon Pirate Group to level 3. The captain was Yi Xian, and the vice-captain was Blue Moon. Song Suijing and Song Jejue were also registered. The island attack would take place 7 days later. If the Mystic Moon Pirate Group succeeded in attacking the island, then they could move to a new island. After all, if a pirate group was not level 4, they would not be allowed to occupy 2 islands at once. Of course, it was also possible to apply for another pirate group to occupy Anhu Island. Although there were thousands of islands in the chaotic astral sea, there were many level 8 pirate groups that had more than 6 islands. They would send people to form new pirate groups and then form a pirate alliance. Therefore, those high-level pirate groups and high-level islands are occupied by some pirate alliances, and there are very few changes. Then, a level 4 king of the Mad Sovereign Pirate Group followed Yi Xian and the other 3 and left. However, when this level 4 king knew that Yi Xian and the other 3 were going to attack the island, he was shocked. As far as he knew, there were 2 level 3rd kings and more than 10 level 1 and level 2nd kings on the Ironstone Island. Even if he went there himself, it would not be so easy to attack. Yi Xian and the other 3 spent 3 days to arrive at the Ironstone Island. Then the level 4 king of the Mad Sovereign Pirate Group rushed over and shouted, I am a marine law enforcer. The Mystic Moon Pirate Group has applied to attack Ironstone Island. You have 1 day to prepare. The voice was very loud, and the pirates at the entrance of Ironstone Island naturally heard it. Not good, someone is actually attacking the island. Quick, inform the island master. This Black Moon pirates really don't want to live. They are just a 2nd level pirate group. It's not enough to occupy an island, but now they want Ironstone Island? They are just 2 grade 2 dominators. They are courting death. The Iron Rock Island was in an uproar. Meanwhile, Yi Xian and the other 3 were waiting outside Iron Rock Island. Sister Lan, there are many mountains on the island. If we go up to 100 meters, will we be attacked by the Riot Star Thunder? Song Suijing couldn't help but ask. No, the chaotic astral lightning will only attack people who are flying over 100 meters above the sea. Lan Yu shook her head. Previously, I saw on the nautical chart that there was an ownerless island in our area. It's called Xianzhong Island. Why is there no one on that island? Song Suijing asked again. Xianzhong Island. Hearing this name, Lan Yu's expression also changed. She said, that island has always been ownerless. There is a special formation on the island, and people have to walk to get on the island. Moreover, there is a huge pressure. If a low-level dominator goes in, they will be crushed into meat paste by the huge pressure on the island. What? Yi Xian and the other 2 were shocked. Crushed into meat paste? Lan Yu paused for a moment and said, at least a grade 4 dominator will be able to withstand the pressure. It is said that there is a heavenly treasure on the island called Xianxia fruit. If someone eats it, they will be able to comprehend the gravity profound. After she finished speaking, she looked at Yi Xian and continued, the gravity profound is of the earth attribute. Perhaps you can go to Xianxia Island to take a look. That Xianxia fruit is only one of the reasons. It is said that there are people who didn't get the fruit and comprehended the gravity profound under the pressure of Xianxia Island. Yi Xian's interest was immediately piqued. The gravity profound was something he had always wanted to comprehend, but he had never been able to do so. If a grade 4 dominator can withstand the pressure and explore Xianxia Island, why haven't any experts come to occupy it? Yi Xian couldn't help but ask. The Xianxia Island is not as simple as it looks. A grade 7 dominator once entered but never came out. Therefore, in the chaotic astral ocean, Xianxia Island is listed as one of the top 10 forbidden islands. It is extremely dangerous. Lan Yu glanced at Song Suijing and hurriedly said, of course that grade 7 dominator went deep into the island. As he got closer to the center of the island, the pressure would only increase. A grade 4 dominator would at most circle around the periphery. Hearing this, Song Suijing's complexion improved a little. Since that is the case, I will go and take a look when I have the time. Yi Xian squinted his eyes. He had already comprehended a lot of the earth profound. Among the first level profound, only the gravity profound had not been comprehended. In this chaotic astral ocean, the gravity profound was also very good. Because people couldn't fly more than 100 meters, the gravity profound could force people into the sea. At that time, the enemy's speed would be greatly reduced, and they would be at the mercy of others. Soon a day had passed. Time is up. The 4 of you can attack the island. The time limit is 1 day. If you don't win in 1 day, I will leave immediately, said the grade 4 dominator of the Mad Sovereign. Yi Xian and the other 3 nodded silently, then slowly flew towards Ironstone Island. There were 2 grade 3 dominators on Ironstone Island and more than 10 grade 1 and grade 2 dominators. For Yi Xian, he could deal with them alone. However, Yi Xian didn't want to reveal his strength. Therefore, he blocked 1 grade 3 dominator while Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song took care of the other grade 3 dominator. As for the remaining grade 1 and grade 2 dominators, they were left to Lan Yu. Reckless fool, you dare to attack my Ironstone Island? You really don't want to live anymore. A brawny man walked out of Ironstone Island. Behind him stood more than 10 people. There were several ways to win an island attack. 1 was to kill the pirate captain and get the captain's order. 2 was to kill all of them. Of course, there was a third way, which was for the defending side to admit defeat and leave the island. Kill? Yi Xian didn't want to waste time on a dead man. With an order, the 4 of them quickly rushed out. How dare you, big brother? I will deal with them and bring those 2 girls over, said a man coldly. Those who were able to attack an island were all dominators, and female dominators were rare. Although people at their level would have countless beautiful women throwing themselves at them, they had never tried a female dominator before. However, this man was too careless. Ice crystal cage. Raging flames burning the sky. Heavenly punishment. Lan Yu and the other 2 instantly attacked. With a boom, the man was blown to pieces. Following that, Lan Yu quickly rushed over, took off her universe ring and tossed it to Yi Xian. The 3 of them had joined forces to kill a grade 3 dominator. Now Yi Xian didn't even need to attack. Chapter 664. Translator, Transin Editor. Transin. The attack on the island was successful. Second brother. The brawny man's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Before he could finish his words, the corpse was burned by the inextinguishable raging flames, leaving behind only an interspatial ring and a virtual god weapon. At the same time, his heart trembled fiercely. Thunder, ice, and flame attributes. Heavens, 3 rare attributes. Too scary. 3 rare attributes appeared at the same time. The vice captain was killed in an instant. When did the Mystic Moon pirates recruit such an expert? The spectators on the Ironstone Island were stunned. The burly man pondered for a moment before finally coming to a decision. Kill them. The brawny man shouted. These brothers of his had followed him for many years and had gone through life and death together. In the next moment, the brawny man led more than 10 kings and charged over. We can only fight in close combat. Raging flames consume too much energy. Judge Song shouted and charged forward with Song Suijing. As for Blue Moon, she stood behind them and continuously used heavenly punishment profound. Boom. 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 The 8 level 1 beast kings were unable to dodge in time and were instantly killed. After they died, their corpses weren't thrown into the sea. Instead, they were dragged by a gust of wind and sent to Yi Xian. Wind attribute, that person also has a rare attribute. A group of people stared at the pair of green wings on Yi Xian's back. Wind, lightning, ice and flame, all 4 rare attributes. This scene stunned even the level 4 king of the Mad Sovereign Pirates. When they arrived, Yi Xian's group of 4 were flying normally. He didn't even know what attributes Yi Xian's group had. He didn't expect Yi Xian to have 4 rare attributes. This was simply heaven-defying. At this time he wanted to represent the Mad Sovereign Pirates to recruit Yi Xian's group of 4. However, he had to wait until the island attack was over. This was his duty. After that man died, the 2 sides began to fight. Because the scene just now was too terrifying, the Ironstone Island Master was very careful. However, it was useless to be careful. When Judge Song fought with the Ironstone Island Master, he condensed a flame dragon and then condensed a flame clone inside the flame dragon's body. Raging flames consumed a lot of energy and he could only use it twice. At the same time, using raging flames in his domain would cause the enemy could easily dodge it. That was why he used Flame Clone, Ice Crystal Prison. Song Suijing's Raging Clone, and Ice Crystal Island Master's eyes flickered in ice. Unfortunately, the Ice Suijing's Ice Technique Master Raging Ice Technique was Ice's Ice Technique Master Ice Technique Island. Whoosh. Iron Ice Dragon Ice Technique Ice Technique Song Ice Chuan Ice Iron Ice Island. In the next moment, the fire clone entered his sight. Not. The Iron Ice Island. Iron Island Ice is iron no. Iron Island Master roared, but Judge Song would not show mercy. Raging flames incinerate ice. Boom. The flame clone exploded around the Iron Island Master. In order to prevent accidents, Song Suijing also slashed at the Iron Ice Island Master. The ice attribute could comprehend the water attribute's profound, but the effect was stronger than the water attribute and had more profound. The profundities that Song Kai-jing comprehended were the binding of water, overlapping waves, ice crystal cage and ice armor. However, she could only use overlapping waves profound at this time. Her overlapping waves profound was stronger than Yi Xian's power profound, and her attack was not weaker than Judge Song's. When the blazing chi wave swept out, a blue sword chi broke through the chi wave and exploded like a firework. Even if the Iron Island Master was not killed by the raging flames incinerate Ice Island, he would still be killed by the sword chi. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then they saw severed limbs flying in the air. The Iron Island Master was dead. The remaining level 2 dominators were stunned, which gave Lan Yu an opportunity to attack. Heavenly Punishment. Lan Yu did not show any mercy. The lightning attribute's attack power was not inferior to the flame attribute, and a heavenly punishment was enough to kill a king. Boom. 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 Charred corpses flew in the air one after another. The battle was over. The Black Moon Pirates only dispatched 3 kings to destroy the 3rd level pirates and win the island war. Then the surrounding people saw Lan Yu and the other 2 throw their universe rings to Yi Xian. Obviously, Yi Xian was the leader of the 3 and the leader of the Black Moon Pirates. How strong would his strength be? Good, the Black Moon Pirates successfully attacked the island, and Yellow Lake Island will become a masterless island. The level 4 king of the wild revered pirates said loudly. But after he finished speaking, he looked at Yi Xian and the other 3 and shouted again, "Now, on behalf of the wild revered pirates, I invite you to join us." What? The surviving pirates and residents of the Iron Island were shocked. Wild revered pirates? That was one of the 3 overlords of the chaotic astral ocean, and this area was the territory of the wild revered pirates. If they joined the wild revered pirates, then the Iron Island would not change owners after all. Who would dare to have ideas about the wild revered pirates? However, the most shocking thing was still to come. Sorry, the 4 of us are inexperienced. If we joined the wild revered pirates from the beginning, it would not be a challenge. Yi Xian directly clasped his fist and refused. The level 4 king of the wild revered pirates was startled and asked in disbelief, "Are you sure you refuse?" What a joke, how many pirates in this area wanted to join the wild revered pirates? But Yi Xian refused, which was a slap to the face of the wild revered pirates. It won't be too late to join after we break through in the future. Yi Xian still refused. Goodbye. The level 4 king of the wild revered pirates narrowed his eyes and quickly left. He did not expect the sudden appearance of the 4 geniuses of Yi Xian, so he had to report it to his superiors. Although he was a level 4 king, he could not see through Yi Xian, and he felt that Yi Xian did not take him seriously at all. Therefore he did not forcibly capture Yi Xian and the other 3. After all, he did not want to become enemies with them. Such geniuses must be recruited as soon as possible, lest the Empress and the War Emperor find out. Yi Xian, this wild revered pirate is recruiting us. If we don't join, will we be killed? Song Suijing suddenly asked. Well, it is very possible, but they should come again. Let's improve ourselves first. If we can't, then we will join. Yi Xian nodded and said. Chapter 665. Translator, Trans and Editor. Trans and Plunder. Although it wasn't Yi Xian's original intention to join the Mad Sovereign Pirates, the Mad Sovereign Pirates were many times stronger than the 3 king palaces combined. Of course, this didn't include the 3 king palaces in the Sword God Palace. Among the 3 king palaces, only the Jianghu family had a level 6 king realm, while the Battle King Palace and Beast King Palace only had level 5 kings. Even if the 3 king palaces combined, they could only be considered as a level 6 pirate group in the chaotic astral ocean. However, it was also because of the Sword God Palace that the other powers in the chaotic astral ocean didn't dare to enter the eastern continent. Next, Yi Xian's group of 4 plundered into the Ironstone Island and started to plunder the wealth of the pirates. The Ironstone Island was also a good island with rich resources. On the other hand, the Jianghu Island wasn't very popular, which was why it was occupied by a level 2 pirate group. However, after Yi Xian's group of 4 conquered the Ironstone Island, the Jianghu Island became ownerless and could be occupied by any pirate group. The 3 of you can cultivate on the Ironstone Island. I will go to Xianxia Island and bring some people over. Yi Xian said to Song Suijing's group of 3. This time he didn't come to the chaotic astral ocean just to level up and break through, but also to help the Battle King Palace open up a route. The Ironstone Island, the Jianghu Island, and the Xianxia Island just happened to form a straight line. This was the route. After distributing the items, Yi Xian left and flew towards the Xianxia Island. The Xianxia pirates were established by the Battle King's Hall, but many of the pirate groups under their command had already been certified. Now that Jianghu Island had become an ownerless island, he had to bring some captains over to occupy Jianghu Island. After that, the 3 islands would form an alliance. He was a level 3 king realm, so his speed was much faster than Lan Yu's. Moreover, Lan Yu and the other 2 had just obtained their spoils of war and were refining them, so he went to the Xianxia Island alone. Under his full speed, he reached the Xianxia Island in 3 days and notified He Liang of the Xianxia pirate group. He Liang quickly sent several pirate groups to the Jianghu Island and the Ironstone Island. By the time they arrived at Ironstone Island, Yi Xian and the other 3 would be able to apply for permission to attack the island. At this time, Yi Xian had already left Xianxia Island and was heading towards Ironstone Island alone. I've already reached a bottleneck in my adjudicator and adjudicator levels. I should be able to break through to level 2 dominator in a few days, Yi Xian thought to himself. As long as the 2 siblings broke through, they would be on the same level as Blue Moon. At that time, the 4 of them would join forces and directly attack a level 4 pirate group. However, when he arrived at the Iron Ore Island, he heard a series of loud rumbles. Not good, someone is attacking the island. Yi Xian's expression changed. Before he left, he instructed Song Suijing and the other 2 that no one was to open the island's protective array. Now that he heard the commotion, he knew that someone was attacking Ironstone Island. Furthermore, it was very likely that it was the plunderer. He immediately rushed over. Sure enough, there were 3 figures attacking the island's protective array outside the Iron Rock Island. 3 level 4 kings? Yi Xian's eyes flickered. There were actually 3 level 4 kings in this area. Their luck was really too good. Therefore, Yi Xian couldn't help but think that these 3 were assassins sent by other forces. Stop. At this time, Yi Xian suddenly shouted. Oh. The 3 level 4 kings who were attacking the island's protective array turned around and saw Yi Xian. They also saw the pair of green wings on Yi Xian's back. Wind attribute? Is one of those 4. Catch him. The gray-robed old man in the lead shouted in a low voice. Immediately, a middle-aged man rushed towards Yi Xian. You're courting death. Yi Xian's expression was gloomy and cold. He directly took out his Bahuang sword and ruthlessly slashed at the middle-aged man, lifting heavy as light. Sword shattering stars. Shio. A cold light flashed and entered the middle-aged man's body. In the next moment, the middle-aged man withered like a flower petal. Instant kill. What? The gray-robed old man and the other level 4 king were stunned. A level 4 king was instantly killed with a single strike. This news was wrong. Let's go. The gray-robed old man shouted again and immediately turned around. But at this time, Judge Song and the other 2 on Ironstone Island saw Yi Xian arrive and suddenly opened the island's protective array and rushed out. Fuck, you had a good fight just now. Now it's our turn. Judge Song shouted. In the past few days he and Song Suijing had already broken through to level 2 kings. When the three of them joined hands they could even kill a level 4 king. At the same time Yi Xian quickly rushed over and took the interspatial rings of the dead kings and devoured them. Just a little more. Yi Xian frowned slightly. He was still a little bit away from becoming a level 4 king. However, after killing these two people it should be enough. Thinking of this, the somewhat agitated Yi Xian quickly rushed over. Although the true qi in his body was exhausted, the bloodline of the divine tree of life restored 1/3 of his true qi in a second. Bastard, go to hell. The gray-robed old man made a move against Yi Xian. Originally, he had heard that there were geniuses with 4 rare attributes here and wanted to capture them for his superiors. However, he didn't expect Yi Xian to be so strong that he could instantly kill one of his companions. Not only that, but his life was also in danger. Therefore he could only use his full strength. It wouldn't matter even if he killed Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian's strength had already exceeded his imagination. Yi Xian not only had the wind attribute but also the earth attribute. Collapsing heavenly slaughter slash. Boom. The collapsing heavenly slaughter slash collided with the gray-robed old man's golden sword chi and shook 16 times in an instant. The gray-robed old man had the metal attribute and had comprehended the metal slice, which was extremely powerful. Such an attack couldn't even withstand a single blow from Yi Xian. Even without the various bloodlines and Bahuang sword, Yi Xian's collapsing heavenly slaughter slash could still destroy this attack that contained the metal slice profound. After all, their attributes countered each other. Moreover, Yi Xian also had the earth pulse profound and heavy as lightness profound. Boom. 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 After the collapsing heavenly slaughter slash destroyed the golden sword chi, it swept towards the gray-robed old man. However, the gray-robed old man had also comprehended the metal defense. Layers of metal walls appeared in front of him, and at the same time, a set of golden armor condensed around his body. However, all of this was unnecessary because he dodged the collapsing heavenly slaughter slash himself. However, he could dodge it once but he couldn't dodge it a second time. Bahuang sword technique, sword shatters the stars. Pooh! The gray-robed old man's golden armor was easily destroyed. In the next moment he died just like the other man. The sword shatters the stars was extremely powerful. Even if it only had 1/3 of its true qi, it was enough to kill a 4th-grade king. If it was fully used it could even kill a 5th-grade king. Of course, this was under the premise that it hit the opponent. The gray-robed old man's death fell into the eyes of the other 4th-grade king. In the next moment he saw despair. Chapter 666. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin Mystic Island, Ding. Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a level 4 king. The long-awaited notification finally sounded. Yi Xian originally wanted to find a group of level 4 pirates, but now there was no need for that. Boom. 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 The commotion in the distance made Yi Xian come back to his senses. Although Song Suijing's trio had good teamwork, their opponent was still a level 4 king. If they were careless they might fall. Thus he had to take care of them. 3 level 2nd kings with rare attributes joining hands to fight a level 4 king was a rare sight. 10 seconds after Yi Xian dealt with the gray-robed old man, the level 4 king couldn't hold back and was struck by a heavenly punishment. Then Song Suijing's sword chi cut him in two. The 3 raiders were all level 4 kings, but they all died at the hands of Yi Xian's group. At the same time they also helped Yi Xian break through to level 4 king. "Ooh, Yi Xian, you're finally back." Judge Song rushed over and said in a trembling voice. "Are you guys alright?" Yi Xian sized up the trio. "We're fine. 2 days ago, a level 4 king came to attack the island. Fortunately, the island's defensive formation was strong enough. Otherwise we would have to hide and wait for an opportunity to escape." Judge Song shook her head. Yi Xian nodded silently. Every island had a hidden exit in addition to the entrance. This was a path of retreat for the pirates. Even if the 3 level 4 kings attacked, Judge Song's trio would be able to leave through this secret passage. "You guys have all broken through to level 2 king, right?" Yi Xian asked again. Song Suijing nodded. "Yes, brother and I have already broken through. Sister Lan will also break through soon." Lan Yu was already a level 2 king. If she broke through again she would become a level 3 king. She glanced at Yi Xian and sighed. I see that your aura has increased by a lot. You have already broken through to level 4 king, right?" "Not bad." Yi Xian did not hide anything. Although the fact that he could take things out of the universe ring had been exposed, it did not affect anything as long as the devouring system was not exposed. Then he redistributed the spoils of war. The lightning attribute was given to Blue Moon, while the ice and fire attribute was given to Song Suijing and Judge Song. Now, most of the heaven and earth treasures had attributes. Refining heaven and earth treasures with corresponding attributes would greatly increase one's speed. This was especially true for rare attributes, which were faster than the 5 elements. Therefore, the cultivation speed of the 3 of them was not slow. Then are you going to Mystic Island? Song Suijing suddenly asked worriedly. We have to go, but there's no rush. Let's wait until someone takes over the island first. Yi Xian nodded. At the same time he held Song Suijing's slender hand and comforted her. Don't worry. I'm not that weak. If I were to meet Jiang Tianjin now, I would have the ability to kill him. When they first met, he told Song Suijing everything that had happened to him, including how he had been tortured by the evil Jiang Tianjin. And I believe in you. Song Suijing nodded obediently. Yi Xian had broken through from the 10th stage of the martial path. He had encountered countless dangers, but hadn't he safely passed them all? Moreover, Yi Xian had the 16 layers of pulsating guard, earth walking technique, and wind acceleration. Even if he encountered a 6th grade king, he could still escape. Next, they stayed on Ironstone Island for a while. When the Shuntian pirate subordinates arrived, they left. This time, Yi Xian was indeed going to Mystic Island, but for safety reasons he still sent the 3 of them to Shuntian Island. Although Great Elder Shi Yonghao was not on Shuntian Island, He Liang was a 4th grade king. Moreover, the island's protective formation was very strong. Even a 5th grade king would not be able to break through that easily. Even if it was broken, the Shuntian pirates could just leave through the secret passage. In any case, the chaotic astral ocean had not been peaceful recently. At worst, they could just return to the eastern continent for a while. A few days later, Yi Xian safely sent the 3 of them to Shuntian Island. As for him, he took a nautical chart and set off for Mystic Island. Mystic Island was in the sea next to Shuntian Island. There was a 5th grade pirate group around it. There were not many people with the earth attribute, so the proportion of people who went to Mystic Island was not high. However, there was only one Mystic Island in the entire chaotic astral ocean. Therefore, all the earth attribute warriors from the 3 major territories would come and try. Thus, the number of people who came was not small. Yi Xian walked straight. Along the way he encountered a few groups of pirates and raiders that didn't care about their lives, but they were all killed by him. However, these were all level 1 and level 2 pirates, and their harvest wasn't even enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. 5 days later he finally entered the territory of the 5th grade pirate group. Then he went straight to Mystic Island. However, when he saw the island, he found that there were already dozens of battleships in front of him. So many pirate groups. Yi Xian's eyes flashed. Sure enough, Mystic Island was quite popular. He had already seen more than 10 different pirate flags, which represented different pirate groups. Of course, these ships were only one of the pirate groups. Their purpose was to send the Earth Attribute Kings over. Only 4th grade kings can withstand the strong gravity of Mystic Island. These people are all at least 4th grade kings. Yi Xian carefully approached the island. Before he reached it, he felt several powerful auras. 5th grade kings, even 6th grade kings. I hope it won't attract other people's attention. Yi Xian frowned and slowly flew over. When he entered this sea, he had already put away his wings of the wind to prevent others from seeing his attributes. A wind attribute person coming to Mystic Island must be fishy. If those jealous people knew that he had 2 attributes, they might kill him. Mystic Island was a forbidden island in the chaotic astral ocean. Therefore there were no guards here. However, the mad sovereign pirates had set a rule. In order not to affect others, no one was allowed to fight around Mystic Island. Although there was a rule, pirates were cold-blooded people. If they killed 1 or 2 occasionally, who would know? Therefore Yi Xian had to be careful. Not only that, but there was also a rule on Mystic Island. If someone fought on Mystic Island, they would be crushed into minced meat. He quietly approached and found that more than 10 people had gathered at the entrance of Mystic Island. He's out. Captain is out. Captain has been on Mystic Island for a month. I wonder if he has comprehended the gravity profound. He must have. Otherwise, why would he come out? A few people's voices came from afar. Yi Xian looked over and found that a middle-aged man was walking out of Mystic Island. Brothers, fortunately I didn't let you down. I have successfully comprehended the gravity profound. Chapter 667. Mystic Zhongshan. What? When the people present heard this, they couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Then an uproar broke out. Comprehending the gravity profound in a month? This was a genius. This middle-aged man was a level 5 king. Although he was a little old, he was definitely talented to comprehend the gravity profound in a month. After all, some level 6 kings couldn't comprehend the gravity profound even after a year. Captain, quick, let's see how powerful the gravity profound is. A level 4 king said excitedly. At this time, the middle-aged man directly activated his domain. Then his eyes flashed. A strange energy pressed down from above, forcefully pushing a warship into the sea. Even the tallest flagpole of the warship was pushed into the sea. Walala. The middle-aged man retracted his domain. Due to the buoyancy of the water, the warship floated up again, and the seawater poured down. Great, this is really amazing. Captain has comprehended the gravity profound. His battle strength has skyrocketed. Is this the gravity profound? If I were to fight with Captain, I'm afraid I would be instantly pushed into the sea. Not only that, but he can also use the gravity profound on himself to avoid the enemy's attacks. It's really useful. Captain has comprehended the gravity profound. He will definitely be able to defeat the Golden Glory pirates. Captain is so talented. Then he will most likely comprehend the second-level gravity profound, gravity space. At that time, not only will he have the effect of gravity, but also the effect of repulsion. It's too powerful. The surrounding people were amazed. The middle-aged man looked at the people around him and said indifferently, "Let's go. Let's apply to attack Golden Glory Island and test the power of the gravity profound." Soon this group of people boarded the warship and left. In fact, they had already discovered Xianxia. However, seeing that Xianxia was so young, they assumed that he didn't have much wealth, so they were too lazy to make a move. A group of level 4 kings making a move on a kid was too degrading. However, Xianxia heard a piece of information that he didn't know from their mouths. Gravity profound and a second-level gravity space? In addition to gravity, there was also repulsion. Wouldn't that be the same as the wind attribute wind space? If I comprehend both gravity space and wind space, wouldn't I be invincible? Xianxia thought to himself. Gravity space and wind space had the same effect. When the two were stacked together, the effect would be at least 2 times, 3 times, or even 4 times. That middle-aged man comprehended gravity Upanishad on his own. He didn't comprehend it after eating the mysterious weighted fruit. It seems like the pressure of the mysterious weighted island is effective. Xianxia thought. Then he landed at the entrance of the island and walked in. The mystic island looked like an ordinary island, but as soon as Xianxia entered, he felt a huge pressure on his head and shoulders. If Xianxia was an ordinary person, he would feel as if he was carrying a bag of 50 kilograms of rice. The pressure would be terrifying. If a rank 3 king came in, he would probably be kneeling on the ground by now. Xianxia was only a 4th grade king, so he could barely withstand the pressure. However, this kind of pressure would greatly decrease his battle prowess. Therefore, he immediately released his Jin Qi in an attempt to resist some of the pressure. However, he was too naive. True Qi was useless against this pressure. Even a rank 4 king like me can only walk. This mysterious weighted island is indeed powerful. Xianxia was impressed. This formation was too powerful. Those who entered would find it difficult to even walk, let alone fight. After all, walking while resisting the pressure would consume a lot of energy. Those who entered did not want to waste their energy. Fortunately, I have the bloodline of the divine tree of life. No matter how long I stay here, I will be fine. Xianxia slowly entered the mysterious weighted island. The mysterious weighted island was famous throughout the chaotic astral ocean. Many earth element kings came here because of its fame. Xianxia saw many people on his way in. Some of these people were sitting cross-legged under trees, while others were leaning against the trees. They all closed their eyes, trying to feel the pressure of the mysterious weighted island. These places were all occupied, so Xianxia had to find a place to rest. This mysterious weighted island was very strange. It seemed that only humans could feel the strong gravity. There was nothing special about the trees. After entering the heavy mystic island, Xianxia walked straight through a forest. Just as he was about to find a place to carefully sense the gravity, he was shocked to discover that there was a mountain in front of him. This mountain? Xianxia looked at the mountain in surprise. "Brother, is this your first time here?" Suddenly, a voice entered Xianxia's ears. Xianxia turned around in surprise. Under a tree 100 meters away, there was an ordinary-looking middle-aged man. "Yes," Xianxia replied. "The closer you get to the mysterious weighted mountain, the stronger the pressure will be. Most of the forest we are in has level 4 pressure. If you go further, you will have level 5 and level 6 pressure. As for the mysterious weighted mountain, you will die if you don't reach level 7. Rumor has it that a level 7 king died on the mysterious weighted mountain a few days ago." The middle-aged man kindly reminded him, indicating that Yi Xian should find a place nearby to comprehend and not come any closer. Thank you. Yi Xian nodded politely. Then he walked to the other side and sat under a tree. The mysterious weighted fruit was a rare item on the mysterious weighted island. If someone could obtain it, they would directly comprehend the gravity profound or even the gravity space. However, it was very rare, so people guessed that the mysterious weighted fruit might have come from the mysterious weighted mountain. Therefore, Yi Xian did not have high hopes for the mysterious weighted fruit. He felt that he could comprehend the gravity profound. He sat under the tree quietly, letting the wind blow past his face. He did not move at all. This place can improve my physique? After an hour, Yi Xian suddenly opened his eyes. He could clearly feel that there was a slight change in his physique. No wonder the mysterious weighted island is so popular. It can improve the physique of earth element warriors. If I stay here for a month, my physique will improve a lot. Yi Xian's eyes lit up. However, if he had to stay here for a month, he would rather go to the sea and kill pirates. His purpose of coming here was to comprehend the gravity profound. Time passed little by little. As Yi Xian endured the enormous pressure, he continuously circulated his true energy within his body to simulate the pressure. Among the earth profound, many were related to the word zhen. The earth pulse, the pulsating protection, and even the gravity profound could be considered as zhen. Chapter 668. Translator, Exodus Tales Editor. Exodus Tales. Mad Sovereign Pirates. Finally, 6 hours after Yi Xian entered Mystic Island. Thump. The small rock in front of him suddenly trembled. His eyes widened. He did not expect that he would be able to touch the threshold of the profound meaning of gravity in just half a day. In less than 3 days, he would be able to comprehend the profound meaning of gravity. At this moment, Yi Xian took advantage of the situation and continued to try. A day later. Poof. The small stone in front of him suddenly embedded itself into the ground. Almost there. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and continued to try. He felt that he was halfway there. If he had another day, he might be able to succeed. On the second day after Yi Xian entered Mystic Island. Ding. The host has comprehended the profound meaning of gravity. When he heard the system's notification, the corners of Yi Xian's mouth couldn't help but curl up. After enduring the immense pressure for 2 days, he had finally comprehended the profound meaning of gravity. His affinity with the earth element had reached the superior legendary level. However, to comprehend the profound meaning of gravity, it was not something that could be comprehended with high affinity. It mainly depended on one's aptitude. Comprehending the profound meaning of gravity in 2 days was enough to prove his aptitude. He immediately used the profound meaning of gravity on the stone in front of him. Poof! The stone sank into the ground and did not even show its head. Haha, although my realm did not increase, my strength has increased by a lot. Yi Xian laughed wildly in his heart. At this moment. Brother, you comprehended the profound meaning of gravity? Suddenly, a familiar voice floated over and fell into Yi Xian's ears. Yi Xian turned his head and saw that it was the middle-aged man from before. He immediately smiled and said, "Yes. Brother, your aptitude is extraordinary. I really admire you for comprehending the profound meaning of gravity in 2 days. You are definitely the first in the history of Mystic Island." The middle-aged man sat cross-legged on the ground and exclaimed, "Senior, you flatter me." Yi Xian smiled slightly. After comprehending the gravity profound, he immediately felt the pressure around him lessen by a lot. At this moment he was able to move freely. When they first entered the island, Yi Xian compared himself to an ordinary person who was carrying 100 kilograms of rice on his shoulders. But now that bag of rice seemed to have been reduced to 10 kilograms. Just as the middle-aged man was about to open his mouth and ask for Yi Xian's advice, rumble! The pebble that Yi Xian had knocked into the ground suddenly shook violently and jumped out. What happened? Yi Xian hastily turned his head and looked into the distance in shock. The tremors seemed to be coming from Mount Xuanzhong. The mysterious mountain in front of him began to shake violently. Then, one by one, huge stone puppets walked down from the mysterious mountain. What is that? Many people ran out of the forest and watched in shock. At this moment, Yi Xian finally reacted. The gravity that had been weighing him down for 2 days had suddenly disappeared. What happened? Why is the pressure gone? This is the first time I've heard of this situation. What happened? What are those puppets? Are there strong people living in seclusion on the mountain? A group of people were amazed. The mysterious mountain has been here for more than a few years. Everyone thought that there was a change in the mysterious mountain, but they never heard that there was someone living on the mysterious mountain. At this time, A group of masters suddenly appeared at the entrance of the mysterious mountain. All of them were flying, and the leader was a red-haired old man. When the group of people saw the flag of the pirates, their faces turned pale. It's the crazy sovereign pirates, it's the crazy sovereign pirates. Crazy sovereign, that person is the crazy sovereign. My God, the crazy sovereign pirates actually came here. Let's go. The people in the forest suddenly made a noise and fled in all directions. The crazy sovereign pirates are the overlords of this sea. They didn't expect that he would come to the mysterious mountain in person today. Why is that? Although they don't know why the crazy sovereign came to the mysterious mountain in person, they didn't think it was a good thing to bring so many people here. It was better to leave first so that they wouldn't be affected when the battle started. Xian didn't dare to be negligent and quickly ran away from the crazy sovereign pirates. The overlord of this sea actually came to the mysterious mountain in person and brought so many people with him. He must be here to fight the masters of the mysterious mountain. Xian hurriedly ran 10,000 meters away. Although the level 4 king domain had a range of 40,000 meters, they still couldn't run out of the range of the crazy sovereign's domain. A single thought from the crazy sovereign could kill them all. However, who was the crazy sovereign and who were they? In front of the crazy sovereign they were just a group of ants, insignificant ants. Not many people would step on ants for no reason. Just as the group of level 4 and level 5 kings were looking at each other, the crazy sovereign finally spoke. "You're not coming out to greet us?" The red-haired old man shouted. In the next moment, a white-robed youth flew out of the mysterious mountain. He looked to be around 25 years old. "Chem? Who are you?" The crazy sovereign frowned. He didn't know that there were other people in the mysterious mountain. "I am Xian. The mysterious mountain is my master." The youth introduced himself. However, those words caused everyone present to frown. Master. This title was a little rare. Under normal circumstances, people would address him as master. The title of master was rarely used in situations like this. In that case, let the mysterious mountain come out. The crazy sovereign snorted coldly, not giving him any face. The white-robed youth cupped his fists and said, "Sorry, master is not seeing guests right now. If you have something to say, just tell me and I will tell master." The crazy sovereign was the overlord of this sea, and his deeds were well known throughout the chaotic astral ocean. Many people knew that the crazy sovereign was impatient and had a bad temper. But this Xian didn't put the crazy sovereign in his eyes. How could the crazy sovereign tolerate this? In an instant, Mad Sovereign unfolded his domain, causing the surrounding air to become restless. A domain of more than 90,000 meters. A level 9 king. "Sir, are you going to attack?" Xian narrowed his eyes. "Call the mysterious mountain out or die." The crazy sovereign said arrogantly to Xian. "Ha ha." Hearing this, Xian didn't care at all. Instead, he smiled indifferently. In the next moment, a domain of more than 90,000 meters enveloped everyone. A level 9 king. This Xian was also a level 9 king. What? The crazy sovereign was shocked. He hadn't expected that this young man, who looked to be around 25 years old, would be a level 9 king. Moreover, his cultivation level seemed to be higher than his. His domain had reached more than 90,000 meters, which was very close to 99,999. Chapter 669. Peak Void God Realm King. However, this Xian's domain was even vaster than his. It had most likely reached 99,999. Peak Void God Realm King. Gulp. Wild Reverend swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He would never have thought that Xian's cultivation level was even higher than his. Monster. What a monster. Where did this mysterious mountain master come from? His disciple is actually a peak Void God Realm King. This was what Wild Reverend and the others thought. If his disciple was a peak Void God Realm King, wouldn't his master be a Void God Realm Emperor? At this moment, Wild Reverend realized that he was in trouble. The experts behind him didn't look too good either. "Sir, why are you looking for my master?" Xian asked with a smile. Wild Reverend adjusted his emotions and said, "Previously, a rank 7 king entered your mysterious mountain but didn't come out. Then another rank 8 king entered but didn't come out. As luck would have it, that 8th grade king is my brother. Did you kill him?" "No, I didn't kill them. I'm waiting behind the mysterious mountain." Xian shook his head. "Not dead?" Wild Reverend's eyes lit up. "Why did you capture them?" "Sir, please look over there." Xian suddenly turned his head. There was a stone tablet in that direction with 4 words written on it. "Do not climb the mountain." Most importantly, no one had discovered this stone tablet before. "I already warned them, but they still came up, so I naturally had to capture them." He Yin continued. Let them go. Wild Reverend said coldly. This time he had come for the rank 8 king. That rank 8 king was the father of the rank 7 king, so his target was only the two of them. Yin smiled. My mysterious mountain master isn't a place where you can come and go as you please. Sir Wild Reverend, it won't be that easy for me to let them go. What do you want? Wild Reverend asked subconsciously. My mysterious mountain master welcomes everyone to comprehend profound, but that doesn't include the mysterious mountain master. Sir Wild Reverend, as long as you agree to a small request of mine, I will let them go. He Yin smiled. What request? He Yin said, my Shifu likes peace and quiet. I hope that Sir Quangzun can give the order that no one is allowed to attack the 10 islands around the Mystic Island, and no pirates are allowed to fight in the sea. Simply put, you can't even make a big commotion. What? Wild Sovereign was stunned, and so were the others. Just this request? Moreover, wasn't this love of peace and quiet a little too much? There was a battle going on next door, so no sound could be heard. Could it be that Mount Shenzhongshan had clairvoyant ears? All right. Wild Sovereign immediately agreed. Thank you, Sir Mad Sovereign. As He Yin spoke, he took out 2 brownish-yellow fruits from his Chen Kuan ring and threw them over. These 2 weighty mystery fruits are my thanks. Wild Sovereign took the 2 fruits with a shocked expression. Heavyweight fruit. It was the heavyweight fruit. As long as he ate 1 arcane weight fruit, he could directly comprehend the gravity profound or even the gravity space. Immediately, the kings on Yi Xian's side looked on greedily. What was their purpose in coming to Mystic Island? Wasn't it to comprehend the gravity profound? Many of them had been here for months and some had even been here for a year. The weighty mystery fruit was a shortcut. However, the 2 fruits ended up in Quangzun's hands. Who would dare to steal them? Not to mention mad supremacy, there were still a few level 8 kings behind him. Behind those level 8 kings, there were more than a dozen level 7 kings. Trying to steal something from Wild Sovereign was simply courting death. While everyone was still in shock, 2 more people flew out of Mystic Mountain. Wild Sovereign couldn't help but exclaim when he saw them. One of them was his brother, and the other was the 7th level king's son. The people have been released. I hope Sir Mad Sovereign can fulfill his promise. Otherwise, I will have to clean them up myself. He Yin said to Wild Sovereign. He was a 9th level king, and his realm was even higher than Wild Sovereign's. He didn't even need to lift a finger to clean up a few pirates. All right, I will give the order immediately. Mad Zun nodded and immediately left with the masters of the Mad Zun pirates. His 8th level king's brother had entered Mystic Mountain to find his son, but he hadn't been able to come out alive. Hence, he had guessed that there was a 9th level king here. That was why he had rushed over personally. However, he would never have thought that there would be a Void God Realm Great Emperor in his territory. If that mysterious mountain master had made a move, Wild Sovereign would have died. Fortunately, the other party seemed to be aloof from worldly affairs. Wild Sovereign's pirates retreated from Mystic Island and quickly left. On the other side, Yi Xian swallowed his saliva. He had always thought that Mystic Island was formed naturally. He hadn't expected that someone was controlling it. He wasn't the only one who thought so. The others felt the same. At this moment, there were more than 100 kings around Yi Xian. All of them were 4th and 5th level kings. In the distance, there were even 6th level kings. These people all had their gazes on He Yin. The level 9 king He Yin casually took out 2 arcane weight fruits. These weighty mystery fruits might have been planted by him or mysterious mountain master. The kings were stunned for a few seconds. Then someone ran over to He Yin. Senior, please give me 1 weighty mystery fruit. This person really didn't want to live anymore. He actually dared to ask a 9th level king for something. Yi Xian and the others didn't move. They were afraid that this person would anger He Yin and they would die with him. Weighty mystery fruit? He Yin smiled and said, you have hands and feet. You have to fight for it yourself. This time, because Wild Sovereign is here, the gravity has been removed. It will be back soon. Phew. Hearing this, Yi Xian and the others heaved a sigh of relief. However, that person who dared to ask for something had become a public enemy. He probably wouldn't live long. All right. At this moment, He Yin turned his head and looked at Yi Xian and the others. My master wants to take in a junior brother. One of you has good potential. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present went crazy. He Yin's master was Mysterious Mountain Master. He was a Void God Realm Emperor. If anyone became his disciple, even Wild Sovereign would have to be wary of them. This was like a carp leaping over the dragon gate. They watched in silence. He Yin slowly raised his hand and pointed in a direction. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. Chapter 670. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin Mountain Man Xian Zhongshan, whoever can walk in front of me will be qualified to enter the mountain with me. Only one person can enter, He Yan said with a smile. Qualified. Although it was only a qualification to enter the mountain, if they succeeded, they would be able to soar to the sky. Immediately, some people lifted their feet and walked towards He Yan. He Yan was at least 10,000 meters away from this group of people. It wasn't easy to walk over while bearing the pressure. These hundreds of emperors walked toward He Yan one step at a time. Under the pressure, their footsteps were very heavy. Some people couldn't even walk 100 steps. No, the pressure is getting stronger. It's the same as before. If you want to walk over, you have to be at least a level 6 king. Only a level 6 king can slowly walk to the foot of the mountain. I'm only a level 4 king. Forget it. I'll be crushed into meat paste. I'm a level 5 king. I can give it a try. It said that once you comprehend the gravity ultimacy, you won't be affected by the gravity and can walk to the foot of the mountain safely. Everyone was moving, but at this moment Yi Xian was standing on the spot, pondering. Mountain Man Xian Zhongshan, an empty God Realm Emperor? Yi Xian squinted his eyes. Previously, when he had come to the chaotic astral ocean, he had only heard that the 3 overlords of the chaotic astral ocean might be empty God Realm Emperors. Now that he had seen one, he could confirm that Madzun wasn't an empty God Realm Emperor. Although the Empress and the War Emperor hadn't confirmed it, it wasn't important because Mountain Man Xian Zhongshan couldn't be them. I have the gravity ultimacy. It won't be a problem for me to walk over. If I can become Mountain Man Xian Zhongshan's disciple, it will be very beneficial for me. Yi Xian lifted his head and looked at He Yan, who was 10,000 meters away. Although they were 10,000 meters apart, Yi Xian felt that something was wrong. He felt that He Yan was looking at him. Could it be that He Yan already knows that I have comprehended the ultimacy? Is that why he suggested this test? Is it just for show? A thought suddenly flashed through Yi Xian's mind. Perhaps He Yan's finger just now was not meant for all of them, but for him. I comprehended the profound meaning of gravity 2 days ago, and Xian Zhongshan is most likely a Void God Realm Great Emperor. Perhaps he saw me embedding the stone into the ground. As Yi Xian thought in his heart, he couldn't help but raise his foot and walk towards He Yan. He Yan was watching Yi Xian from 10,000 meters away. He curled his lips and said, "It took him 2 days to comprehend gravity Upanishad. I wonder how long it will take him to comprehend gravity space." Those level 5 kings in front had already walked more than 1,000 meters. At this moment, Yi Xian had already caught up with the average king tier and was following in the footsteps of the level 5 king tiers. 100 meters or 1,000 meters was no different from 1 meter to kings like them. Yi Xian also had earth traversing, so he could easily cross 1,000 meters with a single step. To him, 10,000 meters was just a matter of a blink of an eye. However, on this island, 10,000 meters was a difficult task. Forget it, let's go. Yi Xian, who was sandwiched between level 4 and level 5 kings, suddenly sped up and overtook the group of level 5 kings. Then he overtook the few level 6 kings. What? Everyone was shocked. Running on Shenzhongshan Island? Even level 6 kings could only jog and run on the outskirts of the island. However, Yi Xian could cross 1,000 meters with a single step. Before anyone could react, Yi Xian was already in front of He Yan. Profound meaning of gravity. These 4 words flashed through everyone's minds. Only those who had comprehended profound meaning of gravity could ignore the gravity of Shenzhongshan Island and run all the way there. Alright, someone is here. He Yan smiled at Yi Xian and said, "Don't hold it against him. He comprehended profound meaning of gravity in 2 days, so his talent is 10 times stronger than yours. Only true geniuses are qualified to be my teacher's disciple." Once those words were spoken, everyone present was shocked. Comprehending profound meaning of gravity in 2 days. This was another monstrous genius. F***CK, I've been on Shenzhongshan Island for a few months, but I've only just touched the threshold of profound meaning of gravity. A level 6 king cursed in his heart. Not only that, but the others also felt the same way. They were all wondering why the gap between people was so huge. However, this world was unfair. Some people had high talent, while others had low talent. Some people were born into a big power and had everything, while others had to work hard to make ends meet. "What's your name?" Yan asked. "Yi Xian." Yi Xian replied. "Alright, follow me. Since you've comprehended profound meaning of gravity, you can fly on Shenzhongshan Island," He Yan said to Yi Xian, then turned around and flew towards Shenzhongshan Island. Rumble. The 10 huge stone puppets also started to move and walk towards Shenzhongshan Island. Yi Xian followed behind He Yan and looked at the stone puppets. He felt that any of the stone puppets could trample him into meat paste. Each of these puppets can easily tear a peak king into pieces, Yan explained. They all belong to mountain man Xianxia? Xian asked in astonishment. When Yan heard this, he shook his head and said, "No, they're small toys that I made." What? Xian was stunned. These puppets that could easily tear a peak empty god realm king into pieces were not made by mountain man Xianxia, but by Yan. He started to doubt Yan's strength. A peak empty god realm king was definitely not an ordinary person to be able to make such puppets. He wondered if Yan had concealed his strength and had already broken through to the empty god realm great emperor realm. Soon he followed Yan into Shenzhongshan Island. At the same time he saw many stone puppets. He counted and found that there were more than 100 of them. Oh my god, if these stone puppets were to kill their way out, the entire chaotic astral ocean would be in chaos. Xian was scared out of his wits. If these giant rock puppets were as strong as Yan said, then even if Mad King Empress and Zhan Huang were to join forces, they would still be wiped out in minutes. Yan led Xian straight in. Then Xian saw a cliff. At the bottom of the cliff was a bamboo forest with a small wooden hut in it. "Master, I've brought him," Yan shouted at the wooden hut. In the next moment, the door of the wooden house was opened, and a spirited old man walked out from inside. "Mountain Man Shenzhongshan, you're finally here. Take a seat." The old man looked at Xian with a smile and pointed at a stone table outside the hut. Xian flew over and cupped his fists after landing. Chapter 671. Disintegration Profound. You should know that I was the one who created this island. The entire island is within my domain, Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong said. Xian had long since guessed this. He silently nodded his head. Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong continued, "Then do you know why I did this?" What? Xian shook his head in confusion. "It's simple. I'm looking for an earth attribute genius," Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong said. When he saw Xian's expression, he continued, "I won't tell you the reason for now, but if you agree, I can take you in as an in-name disciple. However, an in-name disciple can only receive my guidance and not anything substantial." "Just guidance?" Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. However, guidance was enough. After all, Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong was a void god realm great emperor. "Xian is willing." Xian immediately nodded. "Very good. Then you will be my 13th in-name disciple." Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong said, "Before you there were already 12. You are the 13th. Their aptitudes aren't bad. Under my guidance, they all comprehended the gravity profound in less than 7 days." Less than 7 days? Xian's heart trembled. However, without Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong's guidance, he had only spent 2 days to comprehend the gravity profound. His aptitude was definitely the best among the 13. "Alright, then I'll give you your first lesson today." Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong paused and asked, "Xian, do you know the earth attributes profound? Throbbing pulse of the earth, earth traversing technique, strength, gravity?" Xian answered without hesitation. Now he had fully comprehended all 4 profound meanings. "That's right. It's these 4. Tell me more about their branch profound," Mountain Man Shenzhongzhong said. A branch power Upanishad was a second-level power Upanishad. The second-level profound of the throbbing pulse of the earth is called pulsating protection. The second-level profound of the strength profound is called lifting heavy as light. The third-level profound of the lightness profound is called lifting light as heavy. The second-level profound of the earth walking technique is called shrinking ground. The second-level profound of the gravity profound is called gravitational space. Xian answered honestly. "That's right, but you missed one." Hermit Shenzhongshan chuckled and said, "If the earth-throbbing pulse reaches its peak and breaks through once more, then you'll be able to comprehend a new profundity called collapse." Collapse? Xian raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he had heard of this. Very few people know about this ultimacy. Even that mad sovereign probably hasn't heard of it. Hermit Shenzhongshan's gaze landed on Xian. "I've taken you in as an in-name disciple, so I don't need you to do anything for now. If you comprehend this collapse profound in the future, return to Mount Shenzhongshan. I need you to do me a favor." "What favor?" Xian frowned. Why did he need to comprehend collapse before he could help? "My aptitude isn't good, and my comprehension of the throbbing pulse of the earth isn't high enough. I'm afraid I won't be able to comprehend collapse profound in this lifetime. That's why I took in Yan and the 13 of you. You can think of it as me casting a wide net, but profundities aren't just based on one's realm. Some people are already 9th grade kings but still can't comprehend the gravity profound. It's even possible for them to comprehend the strength profound." Hermit Xianxia paused for a moment before continuing. After you, I'll continue to take in earth attribute geniuses until someone comprehends collapse. Simply put, I'll be in charge of guiding you. When you comprehend collapse profound, come and help me, and I'll give you a satisfactory revenge. Now Yi Xian understood. However, something that even Hermit Xianxia couldn't do was probably very different. Now you still have a chance to change your mind. You've already comprehended the gravity profound, so you can leave MT Xianxia immediately. However, if you encounter earth attribute geniuses, please introduce them to MT Xianxia, Hermit Xianxia said to Yi Xian. Yi Xian sat there deep in thought. Senior, I want to know how deep your comprehension of earth attribute profundities is. What kind of guidance can you give me? Yi Xian asked. Although comprehension of profundities and cultivation mainly depended on oneself, Hermit Xianxia was a void god realm great emperor, so he should have some confidence in this. I can give you a cultivation manual and teach you a mid-grade void god martial art. This will be of great help to your comprehension of the throbbing pulse of the earth. At the same time, I'm confident that I can help you comprehend the gravity space profound within a month. Hermit Xianxia answered. Yi Xian's eyes widened as he watched in disbelief. A void god realm great emperor's cultivation manual. The throbbing pulse of the earth, a mid-grade void god martial art. The gravity space profound. These three things were very important to him. Any one of them could cause a huge battle. At this time He Yan, who was standing at the side, suddenly said, Yi Xian, look over here. Yi Xian turned his head and saw a stone beside He Yan's feet suddenly rise. Then, it started to jump left and right as though it had a life of its own. This is the gravity space profound. In your territory, if the enemy wants to retreat, you can use the repulsive force to stop him. If he wants to land, you can use the repulsive force to go up. If he wants to fly, you can use the repulsive force to go down. At this point He Yan paused and said, when you concentrate all the repulsive force on the enemy, bang! Suddenly, the stone beside him exploded with a loud boom. Yi Xian's eyes lit up as an unprecedented expression of excitement flashed through his eyes. This gravity space profound was really too strong. Alright, I agree. Yi Xian nodded. Now, he was considered to be Hermit Xianxia's unofficial disciple. Hermit Xianxia nodded satisfactorily. He threw 2 books to Yi Xian and said, my cultivation manual and medium void god realm martial skills are here. You can read it for a few days. When you want to learn the gravity space or have any questions, you can look for He Yan. He can answer all your questions. Yes. Yi Xian replied. Although Hermit Xianxia had thrown him to He Yan, he did not think much of it. He Yan was a grade 9 king. He was enough to teach him. Junior brother Yi, follow me. He Yan flew up and Yi Xian followed. Then He Yan brought him to the edge of the cliff and said, you can open up a cave. If you want to leave Mystic Island, just let me know. I live there. Alright, thank you, senior brother, Yi Xian said gratefully. He had the earth territory and could control the soil and stones. He did not need to dig. With a thought, a hole appeared in the stone wall in the next moment. Then he rushed in. Chapter 672. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translation strength skyrocketed. Yi Xian's cave dwelling was very simple. Other than the entrance, he had opened up a large open space. Ding. The host has learned 36 overlapping shadows. The current level is 10%. This was the mid-grade virtual god martial art that Hermit Xianxia had given him. The 36 overlapping shadows was considered a sword technique, but it could be performed with other weapons as well. It could be performed with a sword, a saber, or even a staff. At that moment, Yi Xian took out a mid-grade virtual god weapon and began to cultivate. At 10%, he could only slash out 3 times in an instant. However, as his cultivation increased, he could slash out 6 times, 9 times, and even 12 times in an instant. After a few days, he could slash out 33 of the 36 overlapping shadows in an instant. He had reached 90% mastery. He was only 10% away from 100% mastery. At that time, he would be able to create 36 overlapping shadows. This martial art is really good. Although I need to slash out dozens of times, if I am fast enough, I can create 36 layers of vibrations. Yi Xian's confidence suddenly exploded. If he were to use the 36 overlapping shadows and combine it with the 16 layers of the Earth's pulse, its power would be several times stronger than the colossal heavenly kill slash. This was not because the 36 overlapping shadows was a mid-grade virtual god martial art, but because this martial art was almost tailor-made for the Earth's pulse. Together with Hermit Xianxia's cultivation notes, Yi Xian now had a deep understanding of the Earth's pulse. He could transform into the 32 layers of the Earth's pulse at any time. I'm afraid it will be difficult to reach 100% mastery by just cultivating. I should go out and find someone to fight. Yixian thought as he walked out of his cave dwelling. Coincidentally, Hien also left the cave dwelling. Junior brother, how is it after cultivating for a few days? Hien asked. Yes, I have mastered 36 overlapping shadows to 90% mastery, Yixian nodded and said. Hien raised his eyebrows and said in surprise, Junior brother is really talented. In just a few days you have mastered this martial art to 90% mastery. Come spar with me. After he finished speaking he took out a long sword. Yixian was also worried about not having an opponent. Although Hien was a level 9 king and he was only a level 4 king, he knew Hien would definitely go easy on him. Senior brother, be careful. Yixian also took out a mid-grade ethereal divine weapon and attacked. 33 overlapping shadows. Throbbing pulse of the world 16 layered waves. Yixian had unleashed 33 stacked shadows in an instant, but because he was too fast, the 16 layers of the throbbing pulse of the world were unable to contain all of his attacks. Boom, boom, boom. One attack after another landed on Hien's longsword, but Hien was able to receive them without being affected. As expected of a 9th grade king. Yixian was shocked. At the same time Hien was also a little surprised. He praised, Junior brother is indeed amazing. The 33 overlapping shadows actually contain 3 pulses of the earth. Again. Boom, boom, boom. Loud rumbling sounds kept spreading. Yixian kept attacking Hien, but Hien kept blocking and explaining to Yixian. Yixian listened to his advice and improved little by little. From 3 pulses of the throbbing pulse of the world to 4 pulses of the throbbing pulse of the world, in just a little over an hour, his battle strength had doubled. With the guidance of an expert, there was no need to take too many wrong paths. Alright, take a break. After receiving one of Yixian's 33 overlapping shadows that contained 7 pulses of the throbbing pulse of the world, Hien couldn't help but say. Yixian stopped. He was very excited. These 36 overlapping shadows were really too powerful. If he cultivated them to the peak and all 36 shadows contained pulses of the throbbing pulse of the world, even a level 6 king wouldn't be able to withstand his sword. Senior brother, in our battle just now, Master. Yixian suddenly thought of a problem. Don't worry. Master has a soundproof array, and so does MT Xianxia. Our voices won't be heard. Hien said, Junior brother, are you not interested in the gravitational space? Gravitational space? At this time, Yixian suddenly remembered that the gravitational space profound wasn't any weaker than the 36 overlapping shadows. It seems that Junior brother has forgotten. Follow me. Hien smiled faintly and led the way. Yixian hurriedly followed. MT Xianxia had said that he was confident that Yixian could comprehend the gravitational space profound within a month. Comprehending the gravitational space within a month? If others heard this they would definitely laugh their heads off. However, since MT Xianxia had said so, he naturally had his own way. Soon Yixian, who was following behind Hien, entered a cave. There was nothing special about this cave, but the interior was extremely spacious. It was roughly a square of 1,000 meters. Senior brother, this is... Yixian looked around but didn't find anything. You can prepare first. Once you're ready we'll start training. Once we start, we can't stop until you comprehend the gravitational space profound, Hien said to Yixian. Yixian was stunned for a moment, then nodded resolutely. Senior brother, I'm ready. Hearing this, Hien smiled faintly and said, in that case you can stand in the middle. Yixian didn't ask anything and directly walked to the middle of the cave. Are you ready? Yes. Yixian answered. Ah. Hien smiled and stood there quietly. In the next moment Yixian suddenly flew up. What? Yixian was shocked and immediately reacted. Hien was using the gravitational space profound. But as soon as he reacted his body quickly retreated, then down, left, back, right. This was Hien's training method. You can't use wind manipulation to fly, or the time will be reset. Oh, forget it, you can't use it anyway, Hien said. Halfway through his sentence, he had already activated the flight restriction formation on MT Xian. F***CK. Yixian cursed in his heart. At this moment he couldn't use wind manipulation to fly. Hien flipped him upside down and sent him flying around the huge cave. Comprehend the gravitational space profound. Otherwise you'll have to stay like this even if you faint. Hien's voice rang in Yixian's ears. At this moment Yixian didn't even know which direction he was facing. However, he felt that this method was quite effective. It was easiest to comprehend the gravitational space in the gravitational space. The gravitational space was an extension of the gravitational space profound, so to comprehend the gravitational space, one had to use the gravitational space profound. However, the gravitational space profound could only be directed downwards, but it couldn't form a repulsive force. That's right, use the gravitational space profound. You've just comprehended the gravitational space profound, so you're not very familiar with it yet. Once you're familiar with it, you'll find a repulsive force.